expected Christmas to be soft snow falling on the windowsill, carols echoing faintly in the background, and maybe, if the universe felt generous, an ugly sweater that your grandma knit wrong on purpose. Instead, you wake up in a freezing 14th century castle where holiday cheer means rat stew and someone coughing blood in the corner. Forget fairy lights. The only glow here comes from a torch burning too close to a tapestry that smells like wet goat. And before you even process how you got here, the first thing you hear is the clang of iron doors locking shut behind you. Merry Christmas. Oh, and don't bother calling the cops. There's no phone, no Wi-Fi, and the closest thing to Kevin McAllister's clever booby traps is a bucket of boiling tar dangling above your head. Speaking of which, it tips, right now. Do you dodge? Do you just let it fall? Either way, spoiler alert, you smell like a roasted turkey before anyone even says grace. But hey, if you somehow crawl out of this alive, maybe subscribe to this channel, because clearly you like watching people suffer through festive nightmares. And check the pinned comment, there's a Christmas calendar waiting for you. You'll want one. Mostly so you know exactly how many days of suffering are left before you freeze, starve, or bleed out in this medieval nightmare. The castle is silent in that heavy way that makes your ears ring. No TV, no background noise, just the faint drip 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 of water echoing down stone halls. Every footstep you take sounds like a scream in the dark. Your breath puffs out in front of you like smoke, and your fingers are already numb. You mutter to yourself, at least it's not the wet bandits. Wrong. Much worse. The men outside are mercenaries, hungry, and armed with swords longer than your entire body. They're not here to steal a VCR. They're here to split your skull and take whatever pathetic scraps of food you've hidden under your straw mattress. You stumble into the main hall. It looks cinematic for about 3 seconds. Vaulted ceilings, banners waving in the draft, a fire pit glowing orange. Then reality hits. The banners reek of mold. The fire spits smoke instead of warmth, and there's a dead rat smoldering in the embers. This isn't Home Alone. This is Home Already Dead. Still, you think, maybe I can set some traps. Kevin did it. He was 12. How hard can it be? You grab a rope, a rusty bucket, a few loose bricks. Your brilliant idea? Drop the bucket on an intruder's head. Problem. Buckets in the 14th century aren't plastic. They're iron, heavy. The moment you climb the staircase with it, your arms shake, your shoulders scream, and guess what? The handle snaps. The bucket plummets. Not onto your enemies, onto your own foot. Congratulations. You've broken 3 toes before the fight even begins. And then you hear it. Voices, deep, low, echoing through the corridors. They're inside already. Your traps aren't ready. Your foot is throbbing. Your breath is too loud. And suddenly you realize you don't have Kevin's plot armor. You don't get to watch the bad guys slip on marbles in comedic slow motion. You get to feel the steel of a blade sliding between your ribs if you hesitate for 1 second too long. You run. Limp, really. Down one corridor, then another. The sound of boots hammering behind you. The torches flicker, casting jagged shadows across the walls. One shadow grows taller, wider, darker. It's right on you. You duck into a side chamber, slam the door shut, and press your back against it, praying they'll pass. The chamber smells worse than death itself. It's the kitchen, a medieval kitchen, where the Christmas feast is a pile of blackened bread and half a pig's head rotting on the counter. The stench curls into your throat until you gag, but then you spot it, a knife, jagged, rusted, but a knife. You clutch it with your shaking, frozen hands. You're one shot, except the door creaks open, slowly. You raise the knife, every nerve screaming. But before you stab, something else moves in the room, not them, something small, low, scurrying. You turn your head, and your heart sinks. Dozens, no hundreds, of rats spill out of the shadows, eyes glinting, teeth flashing, and they're hungry too. Which do you fight first? The mercenaries breaking in? Or the army of rats swarming your ankles? Pick fast, because Christmas in the 14th century doesn't wait. You press the knife tighter in your hand, but the wood of the handle feels like it's rotting away beneath your grip. Every muscle in your body screams at you to choose, mercenaries or rats. Neither option is appealing. Merry Christmas, right? Who needs hot cocoa when you've got plague-carrying rodents gnawing at your ankles? One of them leaps, teeth first, and you slash down wildly. The blade connects, but the sound isn't heroic. It's wet, crunchy, wrong. You gag as warm blood spatters across your sleeve, sticky and foul. That's when the door finally bursts open. Iron boots crash against the floor, and the first mercenary steps inside. His helmet gleams with the faint glow of torchlight, and the sound of his breath echoes through the metal like a death rattle. He spots you instantly, crouched like a cornered animal, rats scattering around you like ripples on black water. He laughs, a sound so dry and low it feels like your bones are cracking just from hearing it. The rats don't care about him. They only want you. The swarm thickens, climbing your legs, tearing at your clothes, their little claws digging into your skin like fish hooks. You swing the knife again, but there are too many. Their tiny bodies thump against you, their tails whip your skin, and suddenly you realize Kevin never had to deal with this. He got burglars. You got the literal Black Death auditioning for a Christmas cameo. The mercenary advances. He doesn't even rush. He knows you're finished before the fight starts. His sword drags along the stone floor with a screech, sparks snapping from the edge. Your chest tightens. You can't fight him. You can barely breathe, so you make the dumbest move possible. You run straight at him. The rats scatter, shrieking like demons. The mercenary raises his blade ready to slice you in half, but instead of hitting him, you dive past him, scraping your cheek across the filthy floor, the stink of sweat and rust filling your lungs. You don't even know how you make it through the gap between his legs without being skewered, but adrenaline is a strange gift. Christmas miracle, you think? Yeah, right. You stumble into the corridor again, limping, your broken toes screaming. Behind you, the mercenary bellows, his voice booming off the walls like thunder. He's calling to the others, and now they all know exactly where you are. The castle feels endless, hall after hall, stair after stair. Every shadow looks like a trap. Every draft feels like a ghost brushing against your neck. Somewhere above, bells toll midnight. Back in your world, that would mean Santa sliding down a chimney. Here, it's a signal. The gates are sealed. You're locked inside. You drag yourself into what looks like an armory. Finally, something useful. Weapons. Blades line the walls. Shields lean in the corner. And on a rack sits a crossbow. Dusty, but intact. You grab it, hands trembling, and pull back the string until your fingers nearly snap. There's only one bolt, but one is all you need. Or at least, all you're going to get. Boots echo in the distance. Louder. Closer. You aim the crossbow at the doorway, heart pounding so loud it almost drowns out the sound of your ragged breath. Any second now he'll appear. You'll fire. Maybe you'll survive. The shadow arrives first, long and distorted, stretching across the floor like a claw. Then the man steps in. Not the same mercenary, taller, broader, a scar slicing down his face like a lightning strike. He freezes when he sees you, then grins. You fire. The bolt whistles through the air. It hits, dead center in his chest. You almost cheer. Almost. But then he keeps walking. He pulls the bolt out like it's a splinter, tosses it to the ground and keeps advancing. Your stomach drops. You're not fighting men. You're fighting monsters. You grab the nearest thing you can, a sword heavy, rusting. You can barely lift it. He swings his own weapon effortlessly, the force of it cracking against your blade and nearly shattering your wrists. The sound echoes so loud you're sure the entire castle just heard your failure. You stumble back, desperate, until your shoulder slams against the wall. He raises his blade again. You raise yours, but your arms are shaking too much. You know you won't block it this time. Then, crash. The wall behind you shifts. No, not the wall, a hidden door. The stones give way and suddenly you're tumbling backward into darkness. The mercenary lunges, but the hidden passage slams shut, sealing you away. Silence. Total, suffocating black. You're alive, for now. But the air here feels stale, thick with dust, as if no one's entered this passage in centuries. You crawl, hands outstretched, dragging yourself through the narrow tunnel, the stones scraping your skin raw. It twists left then right until your sense of direction vanishes. You could be going deeper underground, you could be walking straight into a tomb. And maybe that's exactly what it is. Your hand touches something cold. Metal. You freeze. Fingers trembling, you feel along the object until you realize it's a skeleton, shackled to the wall. The skull grins at you in the dark, and a scrap of parchment dangles from its ribs, brittle and stained. You tear it free, trying to decipher the faded ink. The words are jagged but clear enough to make your blood run cold. They never let you out. Your candle of hope flickers out right there in the dark. Behind you faintly, you hear boots again. They've found the passage, and now there's nowhere left to run. The sound of boots crawling into the passage makes your stomach collapse inward. You can't see them yet, but you hear their laughter. Not quick, sharp laughter, slow, heavy, like men who already know the ending of the story. And you're not the hero. You're the meat. Your fingers claw along the wall, desperate for any exit, any crack, any salvation. The stone is damp, sticky in places. You don't want to know why. When you scrape again, your nails catch on something. A wooden edge, a door, small, rotten, half buried in the stone. You press, shove, slam your shoulder until it groans open just enough for you to squeeze through. Splinters cut into your cheek as you slide inside, sealing yourself into another room. But this one isn't better. It smells like old blood, thick, coppery. The air stings your throat, makes you gag. You stagger forward and your foot hits something soft, not stone, not wood, flesh. You look down, barely lit by a shaft of moonlight creeping through a crack above. Piles of bodies, mummified, frozen, gnawed down to sinew. A dumping ground. This castle doesn't just defend, it feeds. And you just walked into its pantry. The boots in the tunnel get louder. They're close. You're trapped between corpses and killers, and every nerve in your body screams to move, to run, to climb. So you do the stupid thing. You scramble up the pile of bodies, gagging as skin peels under your fingers, bones snap beneath your weight, hair tangles around your wrists like ropes trying to pull you back down. At the top there's another slit in the wall. A vent? A crack? You don't think. You just shove yourself through. Skin tearing on stone edges, ribs scraping, panic hot in your throat. You fall on the other side. Hard. And this time the floor isn't stone. It's hay. You're in a stable. Horses shift in the shadows, their eyes glowing faintly, steam rising from their nostrils. The smell is sharp. Urine, manure, wet leather. For a moment it almost feels safe. You crawl to your knees, clutching your useless knife, and try to breathe. Then one of the horses rears, screaming. Not at you, at them. The mercenaries spill into the stable, their torches blazing. The hay glows orange, too dry, too ready. You know exactly what's about to happen. One torch drops. Flames leap like hungry hands. The smell changes instantly. Smoke, hair, panic. The horses thrash, their hooves slamming the walls, and you're caught in the chaos. You dive under the nearest beast, clinging to its belly as it bolts. The stable door bursts open under the animal's weight, and suddenly you're outside, icy wind slashing your face. Snowflakes sting your skin, your lungs seize with the cold, but at least you're not choking on fire. Not yet. The horse doesn't stop. It gallops across the courtyard and you cling tighter, every bounce smashing your chest against its ribs. Behind you, flames devour the stable. Shadows flicker across the castle walls, monstrous and alive. The mercenaries shout, chasing, their voices carried on the winter air like war drums. Then the horse veers, too sharp. You lose your grip. The world flips, stone, sky, snow, pain. You slam into the ground, rolling until your body thuds against the base of the castle wall. The air explodes from your lungs. You can't move, can't breathe. And above you, high in the wall, something shifts. A window. No, not a window. A murder hole. A shadow leans out, holding something round. Heavy. A rock? No. Boiling oil. The liquid pours, steaming even in the freezing night. You roll just in time, the snow hissing and shrieking where the oil lands. Your skin still sizzles from the heat licking past. You crawl forward, half blind, while the mercenaries close in from behind. You need cover. Now. Your hand finds a gap in the wall. A postern gate, half buried under snow. You shove, until the wood cracks open enough to squeeze inside again. Darkness swallows you, but it's better than burning alive. You're back in the guts of the castle. This time a narrow stair spirals upward, slick with frost. You climb, dragging your broken foot, each step a knife stabbing your bones. The air gets colder the higher you go, your breath turning into smoke thicker than mist. At the top, a door. You slam it open, the wind nearly knocks you back. You're on the ramparts, the outer wall. Below, the world is nothing but snow and forest, endless black. No roads, no village lights, no escape, just miles of silence waiting to bury you. And you're not alone. 3 figures stand ahead. Not mercenaries, guards, or what's left of them. Their armor is rusted to their bones, their eyes hollow sockets, their jaws hanging loose. They turn toward you, the sound of metal grinding against bone, and raise their weapons. For 1 second, you laugh. You can't help it. You've run from rats, fire, mercenaries, and now the castle itself is coughing up the dead to finish the job. "Merry Christmas," you mutter, voice cracked and broken. The first guard charges. His sword scrapes sparks against the stone, his empty sockets fixed on you like he can see every failure written across your face. You raise your stolen blade, muscles screaming, and meet the blow. It's like hitting an avalanche. The force drives you backward, your heels sliding on ice. The rampart has no railing. Behind you, a drop so far the snow looks like a blank grave waiting just for you. Another guard lunges, and now it's 3 against 1. The stone cracks beneath your boots. Your sword slips. One misstep, one breath too late, and you're going over the edge. Your heels scrape ice, your arms tremble, your lungs burn, and you're one breath away from being hurled backward into an endless abyss of snow and silence. The skeletal guards press closer, their weapons grinding against yours with metallic shrieks that rattle through your skull. Their bones creak, their jaws hang open like broken hinges, but somehow they keep moving. They don't fall, they don't hesitate, they don't die. You swing wildly, your blade catching one square in the ribs. The bones shatter, brittle, collapsing in a puff of dust that hangs in the icy wind. For half a second you think, maybe I can win, maybe. Then the dust swirls. The skeleton's ribs knit back together, piece by piece, until the guard is whole again, sword raised, grin eternal. Your stomach flips inside out. There is no winning here. You need another plan, something desperate, something stupid. So you do the only thing left, you drop your weapon. It clatters across the rampart, spinning into the dark until it vanishes. The skeletons lunge forward, eager, greedy for the kill. But instead of fighting, you throw yourself flat against the stone, rolling between their bony legs. Their swords slice air, sparks raining against the walls. You don't stop to look back. You run. The ramparts stretch endlessly, snow stinging your eyes, the wind clawing at your face. Your foot drags, broken toes screaming, but adrenaline keeps you upright. Behind you, their footsteps rattle like chains dragging across a coffin lid. You don't have time. And then, you see it. A tower door. Heavy oak, iron bands bolted across it. You slam against it with your shoulder, praying it's unlocked. It doesn't budge. You shove harder, pain tearing through your bones. Nothing. The skeletons are close, their shadows stretching long, their blades lifting high. In panic, you grab the iron handle and pull hard. The door shrieks open, nearly ripping your arm from the socket. You dive inside and slam it shut. The clang echoes like a drumbeat of temporary salvation. You're inside a spiral stairwell, narrow, suffocating, and cold enough to freeze your teeth mid-breath. You climb, dragging yourself upward step after step. Each footfall echoes back, mocking, like you're being chased by your own ghost. At the top, another door. You burst through, stumbling into a round chamber lit only by a single torch sputtering in the wall. The room is empty. Almost. In the center stands a chair, tall, wooden, carved with grotesque faces, twisted in agony, and strapped to it. Chains. Fresh. Waiting. It hits you then. This castle doesn't just kill intruders. It keeps them. Plays with them. Christmas, 14th century edition, means you're the toy. You back away, shaking your head, muttering, "Nope, not me, not today." But then the door behind you slams shut, and the torch flickers out. Darkness. Total. The chains rattle. You aren't alone. Something moves in the shadows, heavy, wet, dragging its limbs. A smell follows it, rank and sour like meat left to rot in the sun. You can't see it, but you feel it. Heat radiating from its bulk, breath whistling through teeth too big for its mouth. You back into the wall, palms flat against the stone. The cold, biting into your skin. Your throat closes. You can't scream. The thing exhales. Right in your ear. You swing blindly, fists connecting with air. The sound it makes in response is laughter. Guttural, low, bubbling like water boiling in a cauldron. And then something sharp scrapes your wrist. Metal, a hook. It drags you forward. You slam against the chair, the grotesque faces leering at you as chains whip around your arms, snapping shut. You thrash, kick, scream, but the iron binds faster than you can fight. In seconds you're locked down, chest heaving, sweat freezing against your neck, and then, finally, it steps into the torchlight. 7 feet tall, draped in rags stitched from human skin, a mask nailed into its own face. Its eyes glow faintly, like embers smouldering in a dead fireplace. In one hand it holds the hook, in the other, a sack, a Christmas sack, except the sack writhes, moves. Something inside claws at the fabric, whining faintly like muffled voices begging to be released. The creature sets the sack down beside you. The sound makes your gut twist. It's wet, heavy, and wrong. Then it raises the hook, pressing the metal tip just under your chin, tilting your head up like you're some puppet. "You're next," it growls. The voice isn't human. It's stone grinding on stone, deep and endless. Your body shakes, every muscle locked, your mind screaming for escape. But there isn't one. Until, bang, the tower shudders. The door bursts open. The mercenaries flood in, torches raised, swords ready. They don't even look at you first, they look at the creature. And suddenly, for the first time, you realize they're afraid. One of them snarls, "It broke free." Another mutters, "Chain it. Kill it before it spreads." Before it spreads, your stomach drops. You're not just a prisoner in a Christmas nightmare, you're bait. The creature snarls, ripping the hook free from your throat, and swings it wide. The mercenaries scatter, screaming, their torches spinning in the air. One man is caught in the hook, yanked off his feet, ripped in half with a wet crack that splatters the wall. Chaos. The room erupts in fire, screams, blood. And you? You're chained, trapped, forced to watch. Unless you do something right now. The key. There has to be a key. You twist your head, eyes scanning the floor, the walls, the grotesque faces carved into the chair. And there, on the armrest, barely visible in the flickering torchlight, a tiny iron key tied to a strip of leather. It dangles just out of reach. You stretch, fingers clawing, the chain cutting into your wrists. The creature roars, mercenaries wail, the tower trembles as bodies crash against stone. And still, you stretch. 1 inch more, 1 second more, your fingertips brush the key, and then the chain pulls you back, the key swings away, you're still trapped. And the creature turns back to you, its glowing eyes narrow, and it starts to laugh. The laugh shakes the chamber, rattling through your bones like a funeral bell that won't stop ringing. The creature leans closer, the stink of rotting flesh flooding your lungs. The hook glinting just enough to remind you that your throat is one twitch away from being ripped open. The mercenaries keep attacking, but you can see it in their eyes. They're not here to save you. They're here to survive. You're collateral. The sack beside you writhes harder. Something inside claws at the fabric, pushing out shapes that don't look human. Fingers? No. Claws. A jawline stretching too far. Whatever's in there isn't begging for freedom. It's begging for release. And if it gets out, this tower won't just echo with screams. It'll drown in them. You lunge again for the key. Chains cut deeper, slicing your wrists raw. But you don't stop. You hook the iron loop with your fingernail, drag it closer, closer, until finally it falls into your palm. Cold, heavy, sharp edges biting your skin. You jam it into the lock around your wrist, twisting until it scrapes. Nothing. Wrong lock. The creature notices. Its laughter cuts off, replaced by a guttural snarl that shakes spit down your face. It swings the hook at your chest, but one mercenary intercepts, slamming his shield into the blow. The force splinters wood and bone, but the guard buys you 1 second, that's all you need. The second cuff. You shove the key into it, twist hard and... click. The chain falls free, iron clattering against the stone. Your arm is loose. One. You need the other. But the creature sees now. It abandons the mercenaries. Its glowing eyes lock on you. It charges. You rip the second chain free just as it lunges. The chair shatters under the force, splinters spraying across your face. You dive sideways, hitting the floor so hard your ribs scream, but you're free. For the first time since this nightmare began, you're free. But freedom doesn't mean safety. The creature roars, swinging its hook wide, cleaving one mercenary clean in half. The man's scream ends before it even begins. Another torch falls, setting the sack ablaze. The fabric chars, rips open, and what crawls out makes even the creature flinch. It's small at first, a child-sized figure, skin ash-grey, eyes glowing like coals. But as it steps into the firelight, its mouth splits wider, until it unhinges like a snake, teeth jagged as shattered glass. The mercenaries don't fight it. They run. You follow. The door bursts open under the weight of terrified men, and you tumble down the spiral stairs again, torches shaking, screams echoing. Above you, the tower shakes, dust raining down as the creature battles the thing from the sack. Every roar, every shriek rattles the stone, and you know one truth: whoever wins, you lose. The stairs dump you into another hall. You sprint, slipping on frost, your lungs clawing for air. Somewhere behind, a mercenary shouts, cut short by a gurgle that echoes too long. You don't look back, you can't. The hall stretches into a cathedral chamber. Stained glass windows loom, fractured and warped, saints staring down with eyes that glow faint in the torchlight. An altar sits in the center, draped with black cloth, bones stacked neatly in bowls like offerings. You collapse against a pillar, gasping, sweat freezing against your face. For a moment it's quiet, too quiet, the kind of silence that feels heavy, like the castle itself is holding its breath. Then the windows crack, not from wind, from claws. A hand slams through the stained glass, shards raining down like knives. Another follows, the small grey thing from the sack. It's grown already, taller, broader. Its eyes blaze brighter, its mouth drools something black that sizzles when it hits the floor. You stumble backward, heart pounding, and your foot catches on the altar step. You fall. Your hand lands on something sharp, bones. You recoil, but then you notice what's beneath them. A weapon, a mace, heavy, iron, spiked. You grip it with both hands, the weight dragging your shoulders down. It's unwieldy, awkward, but it's real. And for the first time, you feel something sharp stab into your chest. Not fear, not despair, something worse. Hope. The creature climbs fully inside now, body twisting unnaturally, limbs stretching too long, too thin. Its jaw yawns open, and the sound it makes is nothing like laughter. It's hunger. You raise the mace, sweat dripping into your eyes, breath clouding the air. Your knuckles whiten around the handle. This is it. It lunges. You swing. The impact rattles your bones, spikes tearing into its skull. Black liquid sprays across your face, burning like acid. You scream, wipe your eyes, swing again. The second blow caves half its head in, but the thing doesn't fall. It screeches, grabbing your throat, lifting you clean off the floor. You choke, feet kicking, the mace slipping from your grasp. Your vision blurs, spots of light flashing. The world narrows to one sound, the steady drip of your own blood hitting the altar below. But then, another sound. A horn, low, long. It echoes through the castle like judgment itself. The creature freezes, head tilting, eyes burning hotter. It drops you. You hit the floor hard, coughing, gasping, clutching your bruised throat. The horn blows again and again. The thing screeches and bolts, climbing back through the shattered window, vanishing into the snow-choked night. Silence returns. Heavy, crushing. You crawl to your knees, every bone aching, blood dripping from a dozen cuts. Your throat throbs where its claws dug deep. You stagger to your feet, gripping the mace again, just in case. And then you hear it. Marching. Not mercenaries. Not rats, not skeletons, something heavier. Hundreds of boots. The sound fills the cathedral, rolling closer, closer, until the great doors at the end burst open. Soldiers. Not 3, not 10, hundreds. Their armor gleams, their spears rise, their banners whip in the icy wind pouring in behind them. They march in perfect unison, a tide of iron and steel flooding the chamber. And at their front, him, a king, tall, broad, draped in crimson robes, his crown glinting like fire in the torchlight. His eyes lock on you, and he smiles. Not kindly, not warmly. The kind of smile a predator gives prey that's already cornered. "Welcome," he says. His voice booms through the cathedral, shaking the stained glass still clinging to its frames. "Welcome to my Christmas feast." The king's words echo through the cathedral like thunder rolling across a frozen valley. "Welcome to my Christmas feast." His army halts as one, the synchronized crash of boots shaking the floor beneath your knees. You clutch the mace tighter, but the weight suddenly feels like a toy. Against this, against hundreds, it's nothing. The king strides forward, his crimson robe sweeping the bones from the altar steps. Up close, you see his face. Not old, not young, carved in stone lines of cruelty. His crown isn't gold, it's bone, polished skull fragments glinting like jewels. You swear some of them still have teeth. His smile deepens when he sees the blood dripping from your throat. He doesn't ask what happened. He doesn't care, he already knows. This castle doesn't keep secrets from him. Behind him, soldiers lower their spears, their points catching the last flickers of torchlight like stars being born just to die. The air hums with the sound of iron breathing. You feel it pressing on your chest, heavier than the chains that held you. The king raises a hand. Silence falls. Even the wind outside stops. "Bring it," he says. Two soldiers break from the ranks, armored head to toe, their visors hissing as they snap shut. They march toward you, each step deliberate, measured, echoing across the cathedral like a countdown. You raise the mace. Stupid, futile, but you raise it anyway, because the only thing worse than dying here is dying with your hands empty. They reach you. Their gauntlets clamp your arms, crushing bone and muscle, ripping the weapon from your grip like it was never yours. You thrash, kick, scream, but it doesn't matter. They drag you across the floor, your heels leaving streaks of blood on the stone. The king turns, walks. His army parts like water. You're hauled in his wake, through the cathedral doors, into another corridor where the walls drip with condensation, and the smell of mold thickens until it coats your tongue. Torches sputter. Shadows claw across banners that rot where they hang. The hall ends at another set of doors. Black wood taller than the cathedral itself, carved with images of writhing bodies chained to a tree. A Christmas tree, you realize, but instead of ornaments, it's hung with heads. The soldiers slam the doors open. Inside, banquet. A long table stretches the length of the hall, groaning with food. Roast pigs with apples shoved in their mouths. Birds skewered together like grotesque wreaths. Bowls of red liquid steaming, too thick to be wine, and seated along both sides, row after row of nobles. Pale faces, jeweled robes, eyes sharp as knives. They don't eat, they watch. The soldiers throw you at the base of the table. You hit hard, cheek smashing against the stone, blood pooling in your mouth. When you look up, you see the king at the far end, his throne taller than the rest, carved from bones fused together in shapes that shouldn't exist. He lifts a goblet. Inside it swirls something dark, thick, still steaming. He drinks, crimson spilling down his chin, staining his beard. Then he gestures. The nobles clap all at once, a sound too sharp, too hollow, like bones rattling in a crypt. The king's voice booms, "Tonight the castle sings, tonight we feast on fear." You try to crawl backward, but a soldier slams his boot on your hand, pinning you like an insect. The king continues, "And tonight a guest joins our table." The nobles lean forward. Their eyes glint in the torchlight, hungry, unblinking. You realize none of them have touched their food. Their plates sit untouched, their goblets full. They're not here for pork or wine, they're here for you. The king rises, his crimson robe sweeping the table clean of dishes as he strides closer. He stops above you, looking down as if admiring the last ornament before hanging it. "You survived the tower," he says, voice low but carrying. "You bled, you fought, you endured, and yet you still stand. Do you know what that makes you?" Your voice breaks when you rasp, "Lucky." He laughs. The nobles laugh with him, the sound echoing like a choir rehearsed for centuries. "No," he says. His eyes burn with something older than hatred. "It makes you worthy." He gestures again. The soldiers haul you up, dragging you toward the table. Your stomach knots, bile rising in your throat as you're forced onto the table itself, dishes scattering around you, bones clattering to the floor. The nobles lean closer, their mouths parting slightly. Their teeth are wrong, too sharp, too long. The air fills with their breath, cold and sweet, like rot disguised as sugar. The king places a hand on your chest, pinning you down. His palm is warm, too warm, like fire pressing through your ribs. "You will not die tonight," he whispers. "Not yet." The nobles hiss, disappointed. The king raises his goblet again, silencing them. "You will run." Confusion twists your face. "Run. You will run," he repeats, louder now, his voice shaking the rafters. "And we will hunt." The hall erupts in cheers. Goblets slam against the table, the sound like war drums. The nobles shriek in ecstasy, their teeth flashing, their eyes glowing faintly in the torchlight. The king leans down, close enough that his breath burns against your ear. This is our Christmas tradition. One intruder, one night, one hunt. He lifts his hand. The soldiers rip you off the table and drag you toward another door at the far end of the hall. It bursts open, revealing the outside again. Snow, dark forest, the endless night. The king's voice follows you, deep and certain. Run fast, run far, because when the bells toll dawn, your blood will decorate this castle like garlands. The soldiers hurl you into the snow. The door slams shut. The courtyard yawns open around you, silent but watching. The forest looms beyond, black and endless, and somewhere behind those doors, hundreds of nobles are sharpening their teeth. The hunt has begun. Snow swallows your ankles as you push off the courtyard stones and bolt for the tree line, breath-tearing hot ribbons through the midnight air. Behind you, horns bellow, bells answer, and doors erupt like wounds in the castle walls. Laughter pours out, thin, glassy, hungry, rolling across the ice toward your spine. You don't look back. You can't. The moon is a cracked coin jammed between clouds, the forest a black mouth promising either shelter or teeth. Branches whip your cheeks, twigs snap beneath your boots, and somewhere to your left a hound baying turns into a scream that sounds almost human. Snow blinds, but the cold clarifies. You start counting heartbeats between the horn blasts. 8, then 6, then 4. They're closing. You swerve downhill, skidding over roots slick with frost, and nearly pitch into a frozen stream scabbed with thin ice. The water beneath mutters like a throat about to laugh. You test the surface with your heel. It trembles, spiderwebs, holds. Behind you torches strobe between trunks. Voices volley bets on how long you'll last. You step onto the glass and sprint along the ribbon, praying the ice remembers mercy, and the nobles forget how to read tracks tonight. Halfway across, the stream groans, a death rattle underfoot. You drop to all fours, spreading your weight, crawling like a sinner begging forgiveness from a frozen altar. A torch arcs overhead and lands nearby. The flame hisses out, but heat spiders the ice toward you in frantic cracks. You scuttle faster. The shore rises with slow stubbornness, like a promise that doesn't actually want you. When you haul yourself onto dirt, the ice behind you sighs and collapses, swallowing the torch with a soft gulp. Footsteps reach the bank seconds later. Someone laughs, someone else says, "Jump," and you picture teeth. You run, lungs clawing, toes screaming inside ruined boots. The forest tilts, then funnels into a clearing ringed by thorn trees knitted together like crown wire. At the center waits a stone hut with a door of hanging bones that clack in the wind like sleigh bells tuned for nightmares. Smoke bleeds from a hole in the roof, fat and sweet, wrong. You approach because of course you do. Open ground is death, and shadow might be a softer kind. The door sighs. The bones kiss your shoulders. Warmth punches your face. The smell is bread, and also ash everywhere. A woman sits by the hearth, kneading dough with hands the color of smoke. Her hair is white as salt, her eyes the deep brown of bark after rain. She doesn't flinch at the bones or your blood or the royal hunt glimmering between the trees. Late, she says, not cruelly, but in time. You stare, stunned by the impossible comfort, by the fact that heat exists. She gestures to a stool. You don't sit. You can't. Trust is a bridge you burned 3 corridors ago. She nods like she expected that, and opens a jar clotted with honey slowly. She'll scent you, the woman murmurs, smearing honey across the dough like a blessing that sticks. She? You croak, throat bruised. The queen, she says, as if reciting weather. His bride, his blade. She hunts first. He eats last. You back toward the door. The bones rattle like dice in a cheating cup. Take these, the woman says, thrusting 3 objects into your hands. A pinch of salt wrapped in cloth, a stub of candle guttering blue, a nail crooked like a question. Old rules, she adds. Trade blood for passage, name for silence, warmth for a while. Use them. You don't ask who she is. You don't ask what she costs. You just bow because manners might still bribe fate, then you plunge back into the night. The bones click blessings, or curses, hard to tell. The candle burns with a stubborn blue bead that refuses to be blown out by the wind. You cup it, sheltering the flame, and scatter salt in a quick, crooked line behind you. Horns answer, with a new rhythm. The queen is out. The forest tightens, branches knitting overhead like scaffolds. Snow lifts in little whirlwinds that smell faintly of iron and violets. She steps from the dark without crunching a single flake. Tall, veiled, wearing mail so fine it drapes like silk. She carries a bow carved from something that isn't wood, and a quiver fletched with feathers that refuse snow. You don't see her face, only the curve where the veil kisses her throat, and the pale suggestion of a smile you're certain isn't kind. She studies your salt line, she studies your candle. Then she lifts 2 fingers. The wind stops. Sound kneels. An arrow whispers toward your heart so softly, you almost mistake it for mercy arriving early tonight. You shove the candle between your teeth and dive. The arrow parts your coat, kisses skin, and pins a lock of your hair to a tree with polite cruelty. You fling the crooked nail at the snow and shout your own name because you don't trust silence anymore. The nail bites ice. The blue flame flares. The queen tilts her head like a hawk, reconsidering a mouse that just learned Latin. Another arrow lifts, then dips. She circles the salt line but does not cross. A rule, a boundary, or a game she prefers to play when boredom pricks hard. You run again, every step a contract you sign in frost. Behind you, the queen's arrows peck tree bark with tidy little kisses that track your panic like a metronome. To your right, bells begin to move through the woods, handbells, distant, chiming carols, even though nobody here believes in comfort or joy. The sound's wrong, too bright, too cheerful, and that's exactly why it scares you. You burst into another clearing and almost laugh. A grove of holly shaped into arches, ribbons, candles, a path, an invitation. You swallow your name before it can volunteer. You follow anyway because tradition. Ribbons toss like veins in the wind, candles guttering with sugar-sweet flames that refuse to smoke. The holly arches bow toward you as if welcoming a guest who doesn't understand his dinner. Your blue candle quivers, then steadies, and the salt bag whispers against your wrist like a sleeping moth. You step beneath the first arch. Bells hush. Snow stills mid-air, flakes hanging like confession words that forgot their endings. The path gleams with crushed berries and something slicker. Boot leather squeals. Far behind, the queen's veil grazes branches, silk on thorns, a lullaby promising kindness after the swallowing. Soon, Arch 2 leans lower, decorated with ribbons plaited from hair the color of extinguished candles. Your breath paints trembling halos around your face, then shatters when another arrow hisses through one, slicing light like cartilage. You drop, roll, smear your cheek across berries until your mouth tastes like chapel wine dragged through dirt. The candle's flame dims, then flares stubborn as a rumor. You sprinkle 3 grains of salt and whisper, "Not mine." The air recoils. The queen's next arrow curves wide, obedient to a rule even she won't shatter yet. Behind, laughter advances like obedient wolves, counting you now. The path ends at a ring of carved stones, sweating hoarfrost. Each bears a face with mouths rubbed smooth by too many kisses from frightened palms. You circle wary, until you notice a notch shaped like your keybone. The crooked nail hums in your pocket. You press it into the notch. The earth exhales and a trapdoor yawns. Breath warm, breath wrong, bread and soot and choir smoke. You slip inside, lower the door, smother the candle with cupped hands, and fall down steps whose measurements were guessed by someone who distrusted ankles. The tunnel wants names, not apologies. It takes yours anyway, scraping it from your tongue as you crawl. The dark sweats, stone weeps. Your candle resumes its tiny blue heartbeat. Far above, boots drum a hunting carol. Nearer, water trickles with priestly patience. The passage widens into a chamber, stacked with barrels bound by iron hoops. A scent of apples, vinegar, old thunder. You wedge the door and listen. Snow speaks through the ceiling, like furs being shaken. You bite your chapped lip until copper steadies your head. Then softly, a whisper not yours answers back from the staves. Thirsty, thirsty, thirsty. Pick one. Pay afterward. You choose the smallest barrel and pry the bung with your nail. Stale cider burps out, sour joy burning your nose. You soak your scarf, knot it twice, and sling the dripping length over a crossbeam near the door. When you step back and yank another hoop, the scarf swings, brushing the candle's breath. Flame licks fabric, then climbs, then roars. Smoke blooms muscular and certain. You choke, drop, worm to a low vent, and drag the barrel to block the stair mouth. Fire hates rules but loves invitations. You just mailed several. The queen will test your postage soon. You belly through the vent into a crawlway where frost crystals bead like teeth. The blue flame smokes, then steadies, then stubbornly refuses to die, which feels like a compliment you can't afford. Above, doors slam. Below, barrels thud. Behind, the fire grows articulate. Heat presses your boots, wanting signatures. You lurch forward and find a grate lifting into the castle's old chapel crypt. Candles gutter on skulls arranged as candelabra. Paraffin tears lacquered over eye sockets. You gag, whisper thanks, and squeeze through, leaving skin and old promises on the iron. Footsteps circle above, counting ribs for doors later. The crypt opens into an ossuary corridor smelling like libraries that decided to become wolves. Niches cradle femurs bundled with ribbon, vertebrae threaded on wire, finger bones teaching rosaries new arithmetic. You shuffle past, candle cupped, salt clenched between numb knuckles. The corridor ends at a door painted with winter saints whose eyes are scraped away. You press your ear, silence listening back. You lift the latch. The hall beyond is moonlit by a seam in the roof. Snow dusts the flagstones. In it, tracks, bare feet, small, recent, heading where you're foolish enough to follow, because stories punish hesitation. They lead you into a nursery fossilized in cold. Toys carved from antler line a shelf. A cradle waits with frost woven into its blankets like bridal lace. The air tastes of lavender trapped in old wood and slow dread. Your candle shivers. The veil of silence here is sewn tight, which means you're not alone. You crouch, breathe through your scarf and peer beneath the cradle. Two eyes stare back, reflective as wet coal. A child, a mimic. It whispers, "Hide," in a voice like your own memory, asking you to keep one secret longer. The queen steps inside. Veil brushing the doorframe, she halts at the threshold as if linen could be a locked gate. Your salt is gone. Your candle burns blue. Your breath pretends snow is sufficient camouflage. She doesn't look under the cradle. She looks up, at the rafters, where ropes make shadows that look like sleeping serpents. Then she unstrings her bow and hums an old carol that travels along your bones, unlocking stored winters. The child under the cradle squeezes your fingers once, then vanishes like breath erased by a warm hand. The queen lifts her veil halfway, beauty weaponized for hunting season. You don't see her full face, only the suggestion of dawn refracted through ice that never thaws. She inhales, catching your fear on the intake, and smiles like someone tasting sugared berries with a knife tucked under the tongue. "Run," she says, not loudly, but the walls repeat it the way cathedrals repeat prayers they do not understand. You stand, because disobedience feels expensive, and tip the candle. Blue drips spatter the floor, spelling nothing. Then you throw the last of your salt at her feet. It hits, blooms white, and the nursery door slams by itself. Bells start laughing. Bell laughter chases the walls, bouncing down the hall like silver fish escaping a net. You stumble backward, blue flame cupped in your hand. As the nursery shudders and the queen's veil twitches like a flag remembering war. The crib rocks once, twice, without any wind. You taste lavender turned bitter, like tea left too long on embers. Her bow lifts, your throat flares. Somewhere beneath the floor, tiny feet patter toward passages you haven't earned. "Run," the queen repeats, voice soft, edges sharp. You don't ask why. You throw yourself through the reopened door, bells skittering over stone mice. Corridors braid around you, stitched with drafts that smell of old candles and wet iron. You keep left, then left again, a maze tactic you half remember from cartoons and panic. Behind, footsteps pace you without hurrying. The nobles aren't running, they're savoring. You pass arrow slits where snow gently sifts in, glowing like dust made of saints. A door appears, its hinges lacquered with pitch. You push through into a storeroom stacked with spiked logs, rope hanks, and a sledge that looks recent. Somebody planned a holiday, not yours. You snatch rope, loop a beam, lash the sledge to gravity. You haul the sledge to a gallery that overlooks a stair. Below, torches arrive like constellations that hate wishes. You wedge a splintered plank beneath the runners, knot the rope tight, and chalk a line with your last salt grains. Footsteps crest the landing. You yank. The plank pops. The sledge drops, screaming wood on stone, and scythes through the first rank. Bodies scatter. Laughter erupts anyway, amused, admiring, like a crowd watching a street juggler risk thumbs. Arrows answer, stitching the gallery rail. You duck, sprint, nearly pitch into a choir loft where pigeons have frozen mid-fall. Art. The blue candle shrinks, wick hissing like fat on iron. You shield it with a bloody palm, feeling heat try to refuse you. A shadow peels from the loft's rafters and drops beside you, small barefoot, breath showing as two pale threads. The child from the nursery holds out a wooden horse with a string tied to its neck. Trade, they whisper, for one question. You nod before your sense can vote. They bite your thumb gently, drink a drop and ask, do you want to live or do you want them to lose? Your mouth chooses before you do. Lose. The child smiles with someone else's teeth and points toward a trapdoor hidden beneath a rank of frozen hymnals. You pry it up, air like cellar tongues your cheeks. Below is the nativity, they whisper, where gifts are unwrapped. Not comforting, you descend a ladder furred with rime, boots sticking on splinters. The tunnel opens into a cave whose walls glitter with mica like stars that regret signing up. At the center, a manger of iron bristles with spearheads, blood frozen into ribbons. Around it stand figures carved from salt, faces melted by old tears. Your candle bows, the flame turns. Footfalls follow, hushed, reverent. Nobles file in, their veils silvered with frost, their hands cradling gifts. Hooks, bells, bridles, needles. A carol starts, no words, only breath measured into something older than sleep. The king arrives, crown murmuring. He sees you, sees the manger, and his smile ripens. Tradition, he says. Cradle of teeth. He raises two fingers. The spearheads shiver open like a steel flower. Your knees soften. He gestures to the salt statues. Witnesses. He gestures to you. Offering. He gestures to the queen, who has appeared without sound. Midwife. You hold the wooden horse until it hurts. The queen steps close, veil stirring in breaths you can't hear. She touches your blue flame with her arrowhead. It flares white, then returns to blue, as if testing your permission. Her voice barely moves air. Name. You do not give it. You press the wooden horse to your chest and answer with a question. Who was the last to win? The nobles purr. The king laughs. The queen says, exact as frost. None. Your heart drops a flaw. So why play? Her fingers graze your throat where the monster bruised you. Because he hungers and I remember being cold. The king claps once. Begin. Two guards seize your arms and tilt you toward the manger. Spearheads glitter. You remember the crooked nail, its humming, its question. With your last free finger you pry it from your pocket and drive it into the nearest salt statue's chest. A crack races like lightning across its face. The room inhales. The statue blinks. Salt becomes skin, wet, shivering, remembering pain. She screams, and the echo is a storm. Other statues split, bleed, wake. The guards hesitate. You wrench free, hurl yourself beneath the steel flower, and roll. A spearhead kisses your ear. Chaos erupts like choir practice gone to war. Woken witnesses stumble into nobles, leaving wet handprints that smoke. The king roars, crown buzzing, and the queen draws 3 arrows at once, loosing them into ropes that hold bells above the cave. They crash down, deafening. Your candle whirls in your grip, painting a small sanctuary on the floor. You step inside it and discover the circle muffles touch. Hands reach, they miss. Blades graze, they slide. It's not salvation, only delay. You move with the circle. A slow orbit toward a narrow vent huffing snow. Almost there. Almost. Almost. Wait. A hand catches your ankle with the softness of a prayer. The child. They drag you sideways, pointing at a shadow seam you would have missed. You duck through, stone parts like breath on glass. Behind, the king bellows orders. Ahead, the tunnel slopes toward air and pine. The child runs beside you without moving its feet, face tilting like a question you can't answer. Pick, they say. Forest teeth or river lungs? You choose wrong, you choose water because fire already knows your name. You burst from the hillside into moonlight and hear the river speaking stones. The ice sings. The river sings like glass under pressure, its surface braided with veins of frost that look too fragile, too eager to betray. You skid down the slope, snow coughing up behind your boots, lungs tearing at the cold. The child beside you flickers in and out of sight, their breath never matching the rhythm of yours. Behind, horns bray, voices chant, the hunt swelling louder, as if the forest itself is the drumline. The water groans, telling you what will happen if you trust it. But you trust it anyway, because you've trusted worse and you're somehow still breathing. You smash onto the ice, knees jolting fire through bone. It wails under your weight, but holds, just barely. You crawl forward, keeping low, candle clutched like the last pulse of your body. The child skips instead, their small feet leaving no cracks, no sound, no consequence. Faster, they hum, like it's a lullaby. You try. Every push makes the river shudder. Behind, shadows spill from the tree line. Nobles, cloaked, veiled, torches sparking fire across the snow. Their laughter rides the wind, sharper than wolves. You press flat, cheek to the ice, staring into the black water beneath. Eyes stare back. Not fish, hands. Pale, drifting, pressed against the underside like guests at the wrong window. Their mouths move, bubbling words you don't want to understand. The child kneels, palms the ice, and whispers something too old to belong in this century. The hands retreat, for now. You drag yourself farther, your breath clouding white across the surface until frost webs into your lashes. Halfway across, the horns fall silent. Then the queen's voice rises, clear, high, piercing. She's singing. And the ice listens, cracks spider from her song, sharp lines darting toward you. You slam your palm on the blue candle, begging it for more than a flicker. The flame leaps tall, blinding white for an instant. The cracks stop. The queen pauses. For the first time, maybe she's surprised. You lurch to your feet, sprinting the last stretch, boots hammering the frozen skin until the opposite bank claws at your reach. Snow collapses beneath your grip. You haul yourself onto solid ground just as the river behind explodes. The nobles howl in delight as water erupts, shards of ice spearing upward like broken glass. Something climbs out with it. Those hands, now attached to bodies bloated, grey, hair waving in watery halos. Drowned ones. They shriek, clawing, dragging nobles down even as the hunters laugh and slice, because entertainment is still entertainment when your own bleed. The queen's veil snaps in the wind. Her bow lifts again, but the chaos buys you seconds. You run. The forest swallows you deeper. Pines close in, thick and choking, branches whipping your shoulders with icy claws. The moon darts behind clouds, plunging you into tunnels of dark. You stumble through drifts up to your knees, your broken toes screaming rebellion. Every inhale cuts your lungs like knives. Still, you push. You always push. The trees open suddenly into a clearing, and there it waits. It's our chapel. Small, crooked, its steeple leaning like a drunk against the sky. Snow clings to its roof, icicles stabbing down from the gutters like fangs. The door is ajar, groaning in the wind, as though it's been waiting centuries for you to arrive. You glance at the child. They nod once, solemn, then vanish. Not fade, vanish, like they were never here. You're alone again. You approach the chapel. The wood sighs under your palm, warmer than it should be. Inside, candlelight pools golden across warped pews, dust motes floating like lazy saints. For a moment it almost feels safe. Then you notice the altar. Not a cross, not a manger, a cage. Inside it, bones, arranged like an animal, but wrong. Too many ribs, too many jaws, skulls pressed together into a smiling monstrosity. Your candle gutters. The door slams behind you. Figures fill the pews. Nobles, silent, hands folded like they're attending a sermon. Their veils ripple. Their eyes glint. The king isn't here, the queen isn't here, but their choir is. You clutch the mace you never dropped, your knuckles white, and back against the altar cage. The nobles rise. Not fast, slow, reverent, as if they're walking toward communion. Their mouths open in unison, rows of teeth glistening. You swing the mace. The first skull caves. Dust puffs. The body keeps walking. You smash another, spine cracking, but it still advances. They don't stop. They can't stop. The chapel fills with the rustle of robes and the hiss of snow melting on hot breath. You're drowning in them. The cage behind you rattles. Hard. You whirl. Inside, the pile of bones shifts, grinding together, fusing. The jaws snap. The ribs stretch. The thing inside assembling itself with terrible patience. The nobles kneel, bowing their veils to it, and you realize you're not prey anymore. You're an offering. The cage bursts. It steps out, a creature built of bones stolen from every guest who ever knelt here. Its arms split into three, claws made of jawbones clattering as they flex. Its skull is a cathedral of faces, each grinning, each whispering. It towers above you, scraping the rafters. And it laughs. A chorus laugh, a sound too big for walls. You lift your mace, tiny, pathetic, absurd. But still, you lift it, because the alternative is nothing. The nobles chant now, words spilling from mouths that don't blink. Feast, feast, feast. The creature lunges. You swing. Bone explodes. Dust showers you. The mace shatters in your hands. The flame dies, and the dark swallows everything. Darkness eats the chapel whole, not quiet darkness, alive darkness. It writhes, shifts, coils around you like smoke that learned how to think. The noble's chant fades into a hum that vibrates inside your teeth, each syllable promising you won't leave this place with a pulse. The shattered mace lies useless in your hand, splinters cutting your palm, blood slicking your grip. You want to drop it, but some instinct won't let go. Maybe because it's the only thing tethering you to the idea of resistance. Maybe because letting go feels like surrender, and you're not ready. Not yet. The bone creature moves in the dark, joints cracking like knuckles, ribs clattering like dice. You hear it more than you see it. Skulls grinding, vertebrae scraping, claws dragging furrows into the wooden floor. Your breath is too loud, your heartbeat louder still. You press your back against the altar, but it rattles, bones inside trying to escape, to join the bigger monster outside. Your candle is gone, salt gone, nail gone. All you have is your blood, and they want it. Something brushes your ankle. You kick wild and connect with nothing. Then the sound comes again. Tiny footsteps, deliberate. You whirl, ready to swing what's left of the mace, and see them. The child, flickering in and out of the black, eyes glowing faint as embers. They press a finger to their lips. Silence. Then they point toward the shattered window above the pews. Escape. Impossible. It's too high. The walls slick with frost. But the creature is distracted, its laughter booming as it toys with you, dragging out your terror like it's stretching taffy. The nobles kneel in neat rows, their heads bowed, their mouths moving in whispers you can't hear. You don't know why they let the child move freely. Maybe it's not a child, maybe it's bait. But bait that points toward escape is better than none at all. You crouch low, crawling across the aisle, your knees crunching on broken bones hidden beneath snow-dusted floorboards. Every movement is agony. Your broken toes scream, your ribs grind, but you keep going. Above, the window bleeds moonlight. A promise. A lie. Both. The child climbs first, somehow weightless, hands gripping cracks in the stone like they were carved just for them. They glance back, urging you on. Behind, the creature notices. Its laughter stops. The air tightens. You force yourself up the wall, fingers slipping on frost, nails breaking as you dig for purchase. Splinters stab into your skin. You climb anyway. The nobles' whispers rise into shrieks, their veils flapping as if wind now lives inside them. The creature howls, a sound so low it makes your vision blur, and its claws slam into the wall just beneath you. Stone shatters, shards slicing your legs. You keep climbing. You don't look down. If you look down, you're gone. The child reaches the window, pulls themselves through like smoke. You follow, dragging yourself up, chest scraping raw against the jagged sill. The creature lunges again, its bone claws raking the wall, missing your foot by a whisper. You tumble out, crash into the snow outside, and roll until your body slams into a tree trunk. Pain blooms everywhere, hot, sharp, unrelenting. But you're outside, alive, breathing. The chapel glows behind you, windows pulsing with light like stained glass filled with fire. Inside, the nobles scream, the bone creature thrashes, the king's laughter impossibly echoes. He wasn't even there, and yet he was always there. The ground trembles as if the chapel itself has a heartbeat now. You stagger to your feet, clutching your bloody hands, and run into the forest. Snow falls heavier, thick sheets blinding you, burying your tracks almost as soon as they form. You hear the horns again. The hunt hasn't ended, it's only changed. Now it's faster, meaner, closer. The Queen's song drifts between the trees, high and thin, threading through your skull until it drowns your own thoughts. You bite your tongue to anchor yourself, blood hot on your lips. The child appears again, just ahead, beckoning you toward a hollow oak split wide by lightning. You dive inside, crouching low, the space barely wide enough to breathe. The child crouches opposite you, their ember eyes unblinking. She won't stop, they whisper. Their voice cracks, older than their face. She doesn't know how. You whisper back, then what do I do? They tilt their head, smile sad. Decide who ends Christmas first, her or you. Before you can answer, the queen's arrows hiss into the tree. The wood shudders, splits, showers you with splinters. You burst from the hollow just as the trunk collapses, snow hissing over the flames of your stolen candle's last ember. You're in the open again, the queen's silhouette sliding through the snowfall, veil snapping like a banner. Her bow gleams, string taut, arrow aimed at your heart. You freeze. Your chest rises, falls. You have nothing left, no salt, no fire, no plan, just blood. And maybe that's always been enough. You lift your hands, palms open, red dripping onto the snow like decorations on a blank canvas. Merry Christmas, you rasp, voice shredded. Come and get it. She hesitates. The arrow wavers. For the first time, she isn't precise. She tilts her head, studying you like a puzzle piece that doesn't quite fit the board. Behind her, horns still bray, voices still laugh, but she ignores them. Then, slowly, she lowers the bow. Her veil flutters. Her smile is small, almost human. And then, from the trees behind you, the king's voice booms, "Finish it." The queen flinches, and in that heartbeat of hesitation, everything cracks open. The king's command fractures the snow hush like a hammer through stained glass. Finish it. The words vault branch to branch, ricocheting into your ribs. The queen's fingers tighten on her bow, knuckles pale beneath chain glove lace. Her veil trembles, a breath caught between mercy and obedience. You don't move. Your lungs stall. Your blood is a bell the whole forest can hear. 100 nobles ghost the tree line, veils fluttering, teeth politely hidden, watching to see if tradition stays on schedule. You raise your empty hands higher, palms up, as if the sky might grant amnesty. The arrow lowers a hair. Hope leaps stupidly, like a puppy toward a butcher's hand. The king steps from a curtain of pines, robe dragging a wake of powdered blue light, crown of bone humming, eyes bright with ritual hunger. "My love," he says, voice warm enough to char frost. "Do not let winter linger." The queen doesn't glance at him. Her head tips, listening to something older. The string sings a single note. She breathes in the way storms inhale coasts. Somewhere behind you, the chapel coughs smoke into the night and bones argue with timbers about collapse. "I won't run," you say, because fear has burned down to a small, clean coal, and what's left feels almost like truth. "Then kneel," the king replies, delighted. You don't. His smile widens as if resistance salts the meat. He gestures. The nobles drift closer, not running, feet whispering across drifts, forming a courteous crescent that seals exits with manners. The child appears between two firs, face solemn, hair haloed with frost. They shake their head once, tiny, and press a finger to their lips. Silence. Your name lurches behind your teeth. You swallow it like a hot stone. The queen's arrow aligns with your heartbeat. "Please," you whisper, unsure which god you're borrowing breath from. Her veil lifts one finger's width. You glimpse the curve of a mouth that has practiced tenderness and murder in equal measures. "He says finish," she murmurs, "not to you. I hear begin." The king's eyes narrow the way iron narrows when it hardens. "Beloved." He doesn't shout. He doesn't need to. The snow listens to him. The trees lean. The nobles brighten like candles, remembering they are made to burn. The queen's bow tilts. Your pulse miscounts. Then the child laughs. Not a happy laugh, a hinge laugh. It opens something. The sound cuts sideways through customs, snapping a buried thread. Bells answer. Not the hunting horns. Those tiny handbells you heard chiming from no hands at all. The snow between you and the queen ripples like fur stroked against grain. She turns, sensing the seam. "Old rule," the child sings, skipping forward, leaving no prints. A hunt cannot spill where it was promised warmth. The king's smile holds, but his crown flickers. "There is no hearth here." The child points at your chest. "There is. They carried it." Heat blooms beneath your sternum, sudden and embarrassing, like a secret candle stubbornly relit. You feel every person you ever loved gather their hands around that small fire. The queen feels it too. You see it in the brief softening of her posture, the angle of her wrist relaxing as if she has been allowed to set a burden down. "Choose," she says, voice soft as wool, and the arrow droops an inch lower. "Choose what?" You cough. "Die small," she murmurs, "or end large." The king finally steps closer. The circle tightens respectfully, leaving a corridor of snow. "Enough theatre," he says, and for the first time his tone is bored. He lifts one gloved hand and closes it, and 30 nobles surge forward in polite silence. You back into a pine, bark biting your spine through soaked cloth. The child rolls their eyes with centuries of impatience. "Large," they whisper. "Trust me." You have no reason to. You do anyway. You tear the scarf from your throat, bear the bruises the tower thing left there, and shout to the queen, "If I end large, do you end too?" The veil stills. "If you end him." The bow rises again. The nobles arrive. Smiles like doorways to empty rooms. You stoop, scoop snow, and pack it around the blue candle stub until your fingers scream. You breathe on it once. The flame answers, taller than it should be, white at the core, remembering cathedrals. You sling it to the ground between you and the circle. The snow hisses, retracts. The nobles hesitate, a pause measured in the length of appetites. The king watches, amused, indulgent, as if a child built a fort he plans to compliment before crushing. "Begin," he repeats almost gently, and flicks 2 fingers toward the queen. She doesn't move. The arrow stays pointed, but her feet root. "I remember," she says, "when winter devoured too much." The king's smile goes thin. "I remember when I starved." He takes another step. The child whispers, "Now," and you understand nothing except motion. You seize the candle, plunge its flame into your own palm, and press that burning, bitten light against the bruise ring where the hook bit you. Flesh hisses, pain flowers, the forest tilts. Your blood takes the flame inward like a guest. Heat detonates behind your eyes. The world whites out, then returns sharper and very, very loud. You hear the castle's hidden doors unlock each other. You hear rats pray. You hear ice think about summer and decide against it. You hear every bell that ever rang this night, stacked in a tower you didn't know you built. The queen's veil snaps back. For the first time you see her eyes, silver where sorrow learned to fight. They widen. The king lifts his hand to shade his face as the glow inside your chest climbs your throat like dawn up a mountain. The nobles retreat a fraction, veils fluttering like frightened moths. The child grins like theft perfected. "Large, then," you say, and your voice carries bells with it. You step forward. The snow does not take your weight. It bears you. The king laughs, delighted anew. "A candle trick." He draws a sword black as the absence of doors. "Burn if you can. Fire is my soup." He lunges. The blade stabs through your shoulder and stops in light, lodged like a fork in a star. Heat flares not out but around, swallowing iron without smoke. The sword screams like a choir cut in half. You grip the hilt, teeth breaking your own name, and pull the light through him. For a breath, the king is all windows. You see his hunger as rooms, his cruelty as cold furniture, his fear a small creature gnawing its tail beneath the throne. You pour the candle into that room. The creature looks up, startled, then sleeps. The king gasps, steps back, crown buzzing like trapped wasps. "Beloved," he calls, softer now, not command, not plea, habit. The queen lowers her bow and says nothing. Snow swirls into spirals around your feet, eager. The nobles waver like reflections troubled by a thrown stone. The child claps once, utterly sincere, as if theatre finally earned applause. You stagger. Blood and light gush together. The flame gutters, then steadies. You aren't a bonfire. You're a stubborn hearth that refuses to die when doors open. The king bares his teeth at last. "Traditions endure," he snaps and stomps. The forest bows. The chapel collapses inward with a roar. From its bones, the bone creature heaves free, taller, rebuilt, wearing pews as armor. It wades toward you, mouths singing a carol of knives. The queen steps aside, not helping, not hindering. Witness. Your legs shake. You raise your empty, burning hands. "Large ends," you whisper, and walk to meet it. When the creature's first claw descends, you do not dodge. You place your palm against its knuckle of interlaced jaws and push the candle forward. Light threads its seams. Salt remembers becoming skin. Winter remembers the promise of ending. The monster stutters, then splits along old sutures, bones falling like guilty snow. The king roars, fury finally denting charm. He charges. You turn, meet him, and lay your burning hand against his chest, where the crown's shadow nests. He freezes. The forest holds its breath. The queen's bow lowers the rest of the way. The string slack as a tired sigh. End large, she whispers. And you do. The king's chest swallows your hand like ice swallowing fire. For a heartbeat, he is a cathedral lit from within. Every rib a stained glass window. Every vein a candle wick. His crown flickers, bones glowing as if remembering the people they once belonged to. His mouth opens, laughter trying to escape. But what comes out instead is a sound too old to be joy. A groan. A crack. A death rattle dragging claws across centuries. The nobles gasp in perfect unison, veils snapping back as though a storm ripped through their choir. Their mouths gape, too wide, teeth clattering in hungry panic. The child claps again, slow, deliberate, eyes glowing like coal under snow. He bleeds light, they murmur, delighted. How very festive. The king staggers backward. His sword drops, sinking into the snow without a hiss, as though even steel is finished with him. He claws at your arm, but your hand is fused to him now, flesh to bone, flame to hunger. His crown splinters, shards of skull clattering down his shoulders. Beloved, he croaks again, voice stripped of command, stripped of everything. Help me. The queen does not move. She watches with those silver eyes, veil fluttering, bow slack at her side. The nobles shriek, but not in grief, in fury. Their feast is being stolen. They charge, robes whipping, veils tearing, hands clawing like claws carved from etiquette. The child only smiles. Large ends echo. Light surges from your chest through your hand, flooding the king. His body bows, bends, then bursts. An eruption of bone and shadow and fire that blinds the forest. Snow hisses into mist. Trees crack. The chapel's ruins scatter like toys in a tantrum. Nobles shriek as light burns through them, their veils igniting, their mouths melting into silence. Some fall to ash, some split into salt, some simply vanish, gone as if they were never written into the world. And the king, he is gone. All that remains is his crown, cracked, smoking, half sunk in the snow. You collapse, your body a torn vessel spilling blood and light together. Breath rasps like broken glass in your throat. The child crouches beside you, their small hand patting your cheek. Not done, they whisper. Never done. The queen kneels. For the first time her face is bare, no veil, no mask. Her beauty is sharp but not cruel. Eyes silver with sorrow, lips pale as frostbitten petals. She studies you like someone examining a star about to go out. You ended him, she murmurs. But the feast never ends. Behind her the forest shifts, not with nobles, with something older. The snow rises, shapes forming, wolves carved from frost, antlers grown from ice, mouths steaming shadows. Spirits of the hunt, unchained now that their master is ash. Their eyes burn white, their howls shake the trees. The queen stands, draws her bow once more, and knocks an arrow tipped with light stolen from the sky. You wanted large, she says to you without looking back. Now you must help me carry it. The child giggles. 2 hunters, 1 night, new tradition. You can't even rise. Your hands tremble, your ribs grind, your toes scream. And yet, something still burns inside you, stubborn, stupid. You push yourself up, leaning on nothing but anger and fear, and the flicker of hope that hasn't learned when to die. The snow spirits circle, teeth flashing, claws raking the ground, waiting for permission to devour. The queen glances at you, arrow drawn. On your feet, you stagger, swaying, and raise your empty hands. No weapon, you croak. She tosses you a dagger. The hilt is bone. The blade is frozen water, clear, sharp, singing softly. Now you have one. The first wolf leaps, you slash wildly, and by miracle or curse, the blade connects. Ice explodes, shards slicing your face, but the wolf dissolves into mist. Another lunges. You dodge, stumble, stab again. The dagger hums in your palm as if thrilled to taste spirits. The queen fires, each arrow a streak of silver light. Wolves burst into snowstorms, antlers shatter. claws melt. But for every spirit that falls, two more crawl from the drifts. Their howls braid together, a chorus of winter that drowns your heartbeat. The child dances among them, untouched, laughing. They don't want me, they sing. They want you. And it's true. Every set of glowing eyes locks on you, not her, not the child. You, the intruder, the guest, the offering. Even with the king gone, the feast isn't over. It's just hungry. You fight. You slash until your arm is numb, until blood and sweat and frost mix on your skin. The queen's arrows never miss, each shot faster than the last, her silver eyes burning with cold rage. Still, the spirits press closer, hemming you in, their breath searing your throat, their claws grazing your clothes. The child watches, their smile never fading. Which ending will you choose? You shout back between strikes, voice raw. Which one lets me live? The child tilts their head. None, but one lets you matter. The queen looses another arrow, spearing 3 wolves at once. She doesn't turn, doesn't break rhythm. Decide, she snaps. Now. The snow swallows your boots, claws slash your arms, your chest heaves with fire. You can feel the last of the candle inside you guttering, flickering, ready to go out. You grip the bone dagger tighter, the hum vibrating into your bones, and realize you only have one choice left. You scream. Not a word, not a prayer. Just sound, raw and endless. You plunge the dagger into the ground, through ice, through earth, into whatever sleeps beneath. The world splits. Light blasts upward, ripping through the forest, shattering trees, tearing the sky. The spirits shriek as the ground itself devours them, dragging them into a hole that smells of salt and fire and old promises. Snow turns to ash, wind turns to silence, and when it ends, you're on your knees, the dagger gone, the queen staring at the empty clearing. Her bow is lowered, her veil lies torn in the snow. The child steps forward, pats your shoulder and whispers, "Bigger than large." Then they vanish. You collapse face first into the snow, the crown's shards cooling inches from your blood. The feast is over, but Christmas isn't. Not yet. Snow muffles the forest like a lid pressed down over a boiling pot. Your body sinks into it, too heavy, too broken to rise. Every breath is a knife dragged through your lungs. The shards of the king's crown glitter inches from your hand, faintly steaming, as if still whispering orders to a court that no longer exists. The queen stands at the clearing's edge, her bow slack, her veil discarded, her silver eyes fixed not on you, but on the place where the ground cracked open. The hole is gone. No seam, no scar, just snow, smoothing itself, erasing truth. You cough, roll onto your back, and stare at the sky. Stars scatter overhead like glass, spilled across velvet. They don't look holy. They look sharp, hungry. You mutter, "It's over," though your voice sounds like a stranger's. The queen doesn't turn. No, the feast is over, but the night isn't. Her tone is flat, certain. She lowers herself to one knee, presses her hand into the snow and whispers words that sting your ears like frostbite. The ground responds with a hum too deep to belong to earth. Something still moves below. You drag yourself upright, every joint screaming. "So what now? Another hunt, another tradition?" She looks at you finally, her face bare of disguise. Now she says, "We endure." The word feels worse than die. Before you can argue, a new sound cuts through the clearing. A bell, not the handbells that mocked you, not the chapel's bells. This one is deeper, heavier, each toll dropping like iron into a bottomless well. You feel it in your teeth, your bones, your skull. The queen stiffens. "Dawn bell." Her voice almost cracks. You frown. Dawn means safety, right? That's what hunts end with. She shakes her head slowly. Dawn means reckoning. The trees bend. Snow cascades from their limbs like shaken sugar. In the distance, beyond the ruins of the chapel, light begins to gather. Not the kind you begged for in the dark. This light is bruised, red at the edges, pulsing like something alive. It crawls across the ground, swallowing shadows, climbing tree trunks with greedy fingers. You shiver, because you know, this isn't sunrise. This is something older wearing dawn's mask. The queen draws her bow again, though her hands tremble. He isn't finished. You choke. The king. He's ash. Her eyes narrow. Ash feeds roots. Roots feed winter. Winter feeds him. She raises the bow higher, pointing toward the light swelling between the trees. He returns. Always. The bell tolls again, louder, closer. Each strike shatters branches, splinters wood, makes the earth quiver like it wants to split once more. The queen fires an arrow into the glowing horizon. It vanishes. No impact, no sound, just gone. She curses in a language that tastes like rust when it hits your ears. You stagger to your feet, swaying, fists empty. The bone dagger is gone, the candle burned inside you, salt spilled, nail buried. All you have is blood, bruises, and the shards of the crown gleaming faint in the snow. You crouch, pick one up. It burns your fingers, but not enough to drop it. The shard hums, a note that matches the bell toll like it's singing back. The queen sees it. Her eyes widen. Put it down. You don't. Maybe you can't. The shard thrums, steady, hypnotic. And in that vibration, you hear whispers, not words. Promises. Power if you stop running. Warmth if you stop fighting. An end to hunger, an end to cold. All you have to do is wear it. Your hand lifts, almost on its own, crown shard glowing in the pale dawn. The queen lunges, slaps it from your grip. It skids across the snow, hissing. Never, she snaps. Not again. You snarl, half from pain, half from temptation clawing your skull. Why? If it stops this, if it ends him, why not use it? She glares. Because it doesn't end him. It makes you him. Silence. Just the bell. And your heartbeat. The queen lowers her bow, silver eyes heavy. He tricked me once, she admits, voice cracking like thin ice. Made me his bride, his hunter, his queen. All because I thought I could wield the crown instead of wear it. You saw what happened. You remember her arrows curving, her hesitation, her sorrow. You remember her smile, sharp as frost. She isn't loyal, she's trapped. The bell tolls again, louder. The ground shakes harder. The false dawn creeps closer, painting the snow red, making shadows stretch long and violent. You swallow. So, what do we do? Her jaw tightens. She glances at the horizon, then back at you. We run. And we fight until we can't. And when we can't, she doesn't finish, you already know. The bell tolls again and the sound bursts the air like glass under a hammer. Your ears bleed. The queen stumbles, and from the red glow figures emerge, not nobles, not wolves, not spirits. Shadows of kings, dozens, hundreds, each crowned, each smiling with your enemy's teeth, each walking in step with the bell. Their bodies are smoke, but their eyes burn, and in every one of them you see the same hunger, the same promise, the same feast. The queen raises her bow. You clutch your bleeding ears, your broken ribs, your empty hands, and the dawn finally arrives, not with sunlight, with an army. The crowned shadows advance in lockstep with the bell, each toll stamping a ripple through the snow that knocks your knees together like chattering teeth. Their eyes are coals that never cool, their mouths little ovens set to devour. The queen plants her boots, string drawn, breath steady, but even her calm has edges. They're not bodies, she says, they're invitations. The nearest shadow tilts its head, crown glinting with trapped dawn. Wear me, it whispers, a choir trapped inside the thin mouth. You step back and the cold licks your calves like a dog that chooses bones over loyalty. You expect to run. Your legs don't. The ground has turned to a drum for the bell, each beat pinning you with vibration. Your chest echoes it. Your ribs do percussion badly. The queen fires. An arrow of light spears one of the kings, and for an instant you glimpse a face behind the smoke. Young, starving, terrified, wearing power like a borrowed coat. He smiles with relief as he comes apart. The relief hurts more than the cold. Another shadow kingsman takes his place. 10 more pace behind. Patience wrapped in centuries. Appetite tied with ribbon. You scan for cover. Trees shiver like nervous witnesses. Chapel ruins glare from under snow. Offended you're still borrowing air. The child is nowhere, which feels exactly like a trap and exactly like help. You say, if they're invitations, we refuse RSVP. Humor snaps in the air and falls dead. The queen doesn't laugh. Refusal is acceptance here. Great. You press bloody fingers to your chest where the candle still aches. Heat answers, stubborn, guttering, muttering. You whisper, large again? The flame stirs like a tired animal that heard dinner. The bell tolls. You almost vomit your name into the snow. The first ring of kings reaches you and everything slows like a dream that discovers syrup. Their crowns tilt with courtesies. Their shadows wear the memory of fur, velvet, gold, teeth. Rule, one breathes, breath no warmer than wind through tomb letters. The queen looses 3 arrows, 3 crowns blink out like snuffed eyes. More step forward, voices layering until your skull becomes a banquet hall of persuasion. End hunger, end cold, end fear, end you. The last voice is honest. You nearly thank it for manners. You take 1 step left, the bell moves you right. Rules are rude. Break the bell, you rasp. The queen's gaze flicks toward the red light swelling treeside, where the sound pours from an invisible throat. If I could, I already would. Her voice cracks again, infuriated at its own tenderness. He hung it in the part of mourning that forgives everything. You swallow blood. So we don't ask mourning for forgiveness. Your sarcasm arrives late, panting. Still it shows. The nearest king leans down so close, his crown scratches the chill from your lip. I forgave myself first, he confides. Then, I rewrote winter. His breath smells like wine wronged by iron. You jam your hand into snow, scoop a palmful, and smear it across your throat like war paint. It burns, then steadies into cold clarity. New rule, you say, as if talking to the weather can pay rent. Hearth beats bell. You slam your bloody, frost-stung palm against your sternum. The candle roars up your throat with a copper hiss. Light spills, not glorious, not cinematic, stubborn, greasy, fierce. It pushes the bell's beat sideways in your bones. The kings flinch, offended. The queen's mouth almost smiles before duty suffocates it. Go, she says, I'll hold noise. You kill it. You run, or slide, or half fall forward on greased light. The snow takes your feet and then thinks better of it, letting you skate across crust and drift like you invented salvation. Shadows reach. You duck beneath a crown that tries to settle on your skull and whisper flirt its way into your blood. The queen's arrows sketch a luminous corridor through the crowd, lines of don't around you. A king swipes. Your ear tears. Heat screams inside you like a stove door left open. You refuse to look back. Looking back writes epitaphs in real time. The bell thickens, becomes place. You feel it before you see it. Air turning syrupy, snow heaving like a sleeping beast, trees leaning in the way crowds lean for miracles. Then you see, not a bell, a hole shaped like a bell's absence, ringing because it cannot help what it is. Around it whirl the last bits of the king's crown, shavings of tradition, slivers of hunger doing their best impressions of holiness. Your stomach turns. Your stupid heart leaps. You want to throw yourself in and stop being cold. You want to be done. You want a chair. Don't look long, the queen gasps behind you, nearer now, lacing the air with arrows that thrum inside your teeth. Long looking is wearing. You blink until tears freeze. You step to the lip and feel your name tug as if it were a scarf dipped in current. The bell hole hums. Where? You answer, burn, and shove your candle hand into negative dawn. Pain like truth. Pain that says you are not special and also not eaten yet. The hole shrieks. The forest answers. The kings stagger as if somebody tripped the century. Hands grab your shoulders. You whirl, daggerless, and headbutt first, because that's what's left. It's the queen. She swears in a language that grows icicles on your tongue. Together, she says. Or you vanish, and I clean. Compliment? Threat? Marriage vow? Hard to tell. You grip her wrist. Light crawls from you into her bow, making the wood remember trees at noon. She levels it at the knot bell. Count, she says. The child appears on your other side, sudden as warm breath on glass. 1, they sing, and their little hand, cold as grammar, laces your broken fingers. 2, you growl, dragging air like rope. The hole's hum buckles. 3, the queen whispers, and looses. The arrow disappears into silence like a rumor into a crowd, then detonates. The hole folds, unfolds. Folds again, smaller, angrier, pulling snow, shadow, breath, bells, promises. The king's howl, crowns rattling, edges dulling. The queen knocks again, voice hardly hers. Again. You shove more light into the bow until your vision tunnels. The child leans in and blows on your knuckles like frosting a cake with winter. Finish your wish, they murmur, and your throat nearly says home before your mouth says end. The next arrow becomes a line you could walk. It spears the hole's throat. The ground lurches. The bell sound chokes on itself, collapses into a cough, then a sob, then nothing. Silence arrives so abruptly you think you've gone deaf. In the hush, snow resumes its honest work. Wind resumes its petty gossip. Your knees give up. You and the Queen drop together, shoulder to shoulder like drunks after a wedding that wasn't for you. The child sits cross-legged, patting the place where the hole once hummed. Full, they announce, content as a cat. No more ringing, for now. The kings do not vanish. They thin like guilt in a story told too many times, but they keep their crowns and their polite hunger. Without the bell, their steps lose rhythm. A few bow to you, exquisite, as if conceding a game instead of losing a life. One kneels, touches his crown, offers it up with trembling hands. The Queen steps between. No. The King Smoke smiles. Somebody must rule the cold. The Queen's silver eyes harden into coins nobody will spend. It can rule itself. She crushes the offered crown under her heel. It sighs like bread deflating. Light inside you gutters. It isn't poetic. It's a tired lamp flickering in a hallway nobody cleans. You sway. The Queen catches your elbow. Stay awake, she orders, which is hilarious. The child crawls into your lap as if declaring squatters' rights. They can sleep later, they decree. Now comes the part where we pretend to eat. Your stomach barks like a thin dog. The Queen makes a noise that might once have been laughter before the castle trained it. She pulls a strip of dried meat from somewhere unreasonable in her armor and tears it. She hands you half. It tastes like leather consenting to be less. It tastes like survival. Your teeth ache with gratitude anyway. The child pretends to chew air and looks satisfied. The forest exhales a long, ragged breath. The crowns on the retreating shades dim, then wink out like fever dreams that decide to be mercy. Snow begins again, soft, indifferent, holy only if you insist. Somewhere far off a real dawn edges up, pale and honest, pinking the horizon like embarrassment after bragging. The Queen leans her head back, closes her eyes, and says nothing for a long, thawing minute. You don't say thank you. She wouldn't know where to put it. You don't say sorry. That belongs to other stories. You say, if the bell is gone, does Christmas end? Her eyes open. Silver slackens to weather. Christmas never ends, she says, almost gentle. But hunger can. The child smirks. If we keep stealing its plates. You watch the ruined chapel, the quiet forest, the honest dawn. You curl your bruised fingers around absence where a nail once hummed, where salt once mattered, where a candle still smoulders. Then let's keep stealing, you say, and feel the day choose you back. Behind you, deep in the castle, something large and old stirs one last time, curious whether you'll look. You don't. You stand. The Queen rises with you. The child climbs your back and declares themselves a scarf. The wind lifts, gentler now. You take one step toward the gate, second toward the road, third toward whatever counts as home in a century that eats intruders for dessert. The snow doesn't argue, not yet. You smile because it hurts and because the pain proves you dodged one trap you were never meant to survive. Then, from the forest's edge, a single bell answers anyway. The single bell dings, soft at first, almost playful, like a child tapping glass with a spoon. You freeze mid-step, the Queen's silver eyes snapping open, the child tightening around your shoulders like a scarf that suddenly remembers it has claws. The snow hushes again, leaning in, listening. The sound doesn't echo, it slithers. It curls around tree trunks, slinks into branches, and crawls into your ear canal until you can taste metal on your tongue. Ding, ding, ding. Not loud, but too close. The Queen draws her bow. Her hands don't tremble this time, they harden. That's not his bell, she says, voice thin but steady. That's hers. You know instantly who she means. The Queen of Veils, the hunter who hesitated, the one who spared you, or delayed you. Her absence had been too quiet, her departure too incomplete. Now she returns. The bell chimes again and the trees split, not break, split, like lips tearing under cold. Through the fissures steps a procession. Veiled figures shorter than the nobles moving smoother, slower. Their veils drip with frost. Their hands are clasped. Their feet leave no prints. Children, dozens of them. Each carries a little bell that dings without swinging. Each sound exactly in rhythm with your pulse. The child on your back shudders, their ember eyes wide. She brought them. You croak. Brought who? The queen doesn't answer, her jaw locked, arrow already knocked. The children stop at the tree line. They don't speak. They just watch, veils fluttering. Their bells ding, 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 each note more demanding. Then the snow behind them folds open, and she appears. The hunter queen. No veil now. Her face is raw, terrible, beautiful. Her smile is small and sharp, like a secret finally told. She carries no bow, just a staff crowned with twisted holly and strung with bones that clack like wind chimes. Beloved intruder, she calls to you, her voice ringing clear, cutting through the morning. Did you think it ended with him? Did you think killing a king meant you killed his feast? No. The crown is hunger itself, and hunger needs a mouth. The queen at your side raises her bow. Sister, she says, venom wrapped in sorrow. Bride, the hunter answers. The child on your shoulders digs their nails into your collarbone. Don't listen. Bells lie, always. But you already feel the pull. The veiled children raise their bells, dinging louder now, faster, until the rhythm worms into your ribs. Your heart tries to match it. You double over, clutching your chest, teeth clenched, desperate to hold onto your own pulse. The hunter queen tilts her head. I don't want you dead, she says, smiling wider. I want you crowned. Every feast needs a fool. Every fool becomes a king. You stagger upright, shaking your head. No more crowns. She laughs softly. Oh, child, crowns are not worn. They are swallowed. The veiled children step forward, bells clanging louder. Ding, 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 the sound grinds through your skull until your vision blurs. The queen beside you looses an arrow, it streaks silver, cutting through one of the bells. Silence where it stood. The child vanishes into mist. The hunter queen narrows her eyes, staff striking the ground. The snow leaps, a wall of frost rising between you and the world. Run! Your queen snarls, grabbing your arm. This is my fight. You jerk back, spitting blood. It's mine too. The hunter queen slams her staff again. The frost wall splits open into a corridor, straight and blinding, leading toward the ruined castle. The bells follow, each ding bending the air, each note a chain dragging you forward. The hunter queen's smile widens. Come home, little king. Your queen grips your shoulders, shaking you hard. If you walk that path, you wear it forever. No crown, no hunger, no feast ends. Ever. The child reappears at your feet, face pale. If you don't walk it, she hunts until everyone else dies instead. The bells clang louder, faster, drowning thought. Ding, 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 ding. You stumble forward, one step into the frost corridor. The hunter queen laughs, staff raised. The veiled children chant now, soft and eerie. Feast, feast, feast. You choke on the word. Then you stop. The blue flame. It's still inside you, guttering low, but alive. You press your hand to your chest, close your eyes and whisper, large. Heat bursts from your ribs, ripping down your arms, flooding your palms. The bells stutter, dinging out of sync for the first time. The children falter, their veils twitching. The hunter queen snarls, staff cracking the ground again, frost spraying. Enough! You stagger out of the corridor, clutching your chest, blood and light spilling between your fingers. The queen knocks another arrow, your flame crawling along her bow. Together you aim, not at the hunter, not at the children, but at the bells themselves. Now, she breathes. You scream, pushing the last of your fire forward. The arrow bursts from the bow, trailing light, searing through the first row of bells. They shatter, sound breaking into shards that cut the air. The veiled children shriek, their voices older, deeper, twisted. They collapse, veils turning to ash. The corridor collapses. The hunter queen howls, her smile torn away. The snow crashes down, burying her in silence. The forest goes still and you fall, face first into the snow, the blue flame finally out. Snow presses against your face, wet, cold, merciless. You don't move. You can't. Your chest is a hollow lantern where the flame has gone out, ribs rattling like empty glass. For a moment you think this is it. The end, not grand, not glorious, just freezing into the same white silence that claimed every fool before you. Then a hand grabs your collar and drags. The queen. She pulls you upright, her breath ragged, silver eyes scanning the tree line. The snow where the hunter queen fell is smooth now, flat, like nothing ever clawed its way out. The veiled children are gone. No bells, no corridor, No staff, only silence, too heavy to trust. She's not dead, you croak. The queen shakes her head. No, she waits. You spit blood into the snow, watch it bloom red before freezing. Then we move before waiting turns into hunting again. She doesn't argue. Together you stagger through the forest, deeper than before, the ruined castle vanishing behind frost and distance. The dawn light is pale, weak, clinging to branches like it doesn't want to stay. For the first time, there are no horns, no laughter, no chase. Just the sound of your boots crunching and your lungs tearing open. It feels wrong. Too quiet. Too easy. The queen halts at a ridge. Below sprawls a frozen valley, a river cutting through it like a vein of steel. But it isn't the valley that makes her tense. It's what stands in the center, a tree, massive, dead. Its branches spread like ribs, hung with thousands of ornaments. No, not ornaments. Skulls. Some tiny, some massive, all swinging gently in the breeze, teeth clicking like chimes. Your stomach knots. What is that? Her voice is sharp. The feast tree where every offering ends. You shiver. Then why are we here? She looks at you, unreadable. Because endings are roots. You don't like the sound of that, but your body keeps moving anyway, dragging you toward the valley floor, toward the tree that groans in the wind, as if it remembers every throat it ever ate. The closer you get, the louder the sound of clicking teeth becomes, a chorus of hunger waiting to bite. The ground beneath the tree is black, scorched, the snow melted into a ring of mud. Bones poke through like weeds. The air stinks of copper and smoke, and at the base, chained to the trunk, sits a figure, thin, barefoot, wrapped in rags. They lift their head as you approach. Their eyes glow faintly blue like a dying ember. The child, except older, taller, face stretched with centuries, mouth cracked from too many winters. They smile, weak but knowing. Took you long enough. Your throat closes. What are you? They laugh, dry as old parchment. Once, a guest, then a fool, then a king. Now, just another ornament waiting for the branch to break. The queen stiffens. This is her trick. The chained figure shakes their head. No trick, just tradition. Every intruder ends here. Every intruder becomes part of the tree. The feast feeds itself. The skulls above rattle louder, as if agreeing. You step closer despite yourself. Then how are you still alive? Their smile fades. Because I didn't choose, I hesitated, and the feast loves hesitation. It keeps me here, chained, forever almost ending. Their eyes lock on yours. Don't be me. The queen raises her bow, arrow glowing faint. Enough riddles. How do we kill the tree? The figure laughs again, bitter. Kill the tree? You don't. You climb it. You hang on it. You become it. That's how it ends. You shake your head. No, there's another way. There has to be. The ground rumbles. The tree groans. Branches shift, skulls clattering like applause. Something moves in the trunk. A pulse. A heartbeat. The wood splits. Just a crack. Just enough to show red light glowing deep inside. The queen grabs your arm. It's waking. The chained figure grins, teeth black. Then you'd better decide quick. The tree shudders again, louder this time. Roots tear through the mud, curling like claws. Skulls fall, shattering on the ground, their broken teeth still clicking. The air grows hot, choking, filled with the stink of blood that never dries. You clutch your chest, desperate for even a flicker of the blue flame. Nothing, just emptiness. The queen raises her bow, fires at the trunk. The arrow embeds deep, glowing, but the tree laughs. The sound is wood splitting, bark groaning, skulls chattering. It laughs at her, at you, at everything. The chained figure leans forward, chains rattling. There's only one rule left. End yourself, or it ends you. The queen looks at you, her silver eyes burning. Don't listen, there's always another rule. The ground splits. Roots lash out, wrapping the queen's legs, yanking her off her feet. She fires wildly, arrows slicing branches, skulls exploding into dust. But more just swing down in their place. You dive forward, grab her hand, pull. But the roots tighten, dragging her closer to the trunk. The figure shouts, voice raw. Choose! Your fingers slip on her glove. The roots jerk. The queen screams. And the feast tree opens its trunk, wide. A gaping red maw that smells like every corpse you ever feared becoming. It's waiting. For you. For her. For Christmas. Word count, 1000. Quer que eu continue com o bloco 18. Snow presses against your face, wet, cold, merciless. You don't move, you can't. Your chest is a hollow lantern where the flame has gone out, ribs rattling like empty glass. For a moment you think this is it. The end, not grand, not glorious, just freezing into the same white silence that claimed every fool before you. Then a hand grabs your collar and drags. The Queen. She pulls you upright, her breath ragged, silver eyes scanning the tree line. The snow where the Hunter Queen fell is smooth now, flat, like nothing ever clawed its way out. The veiled children are gone. No bells, no corridor, no staff, only silence, too heavy to trust. She's not dead, you croak. The Queen shakes her head. No, she waits. You spit blood into the snow, watch it bloom red before freezing. Then we move before waiting turns into hunting again. She doesn't argue. Together you stagger through the forest, deeper than before, the ruined castle vanishing behind frost and distance. The dawn light is pale, weak, clinging to branches like it doesn't want to stay. For the first time, there are no horns, no laughter, no chase. Just the sound of your boots crunching and your lungs tearing open. It feels wrong. Too quiet. Too easy. The Queen halts at a ridge. Below sprawls a frozen valley, a river cutting through it like a vein of steel. But it isn't the valley that makes her tense. It's what stands in the center, a tree, massive, dead. Its branches spread like ribs, hung with thousands of ornaments. No, not ornaments. Skulls. Some tiny, some massive. All swinging gently in the breeze, teeth clicking like chimes. Your stomach knots. What is that? Her voice is sharp. The feast tree where every offering ends. You shiver. Then why are we here? She looks at you, unreadable. Because endings are roots. You don't like the sound of that, but your body keeps moving anyway, dragging you toward the valley floor, toward the tree that groans in the wind, as if it remembers every throat it ever ate. The closer you get, the louder the sound of clicking teeth becomes, a chorus of hunger waiting to bite. The ground beneath the tree is black, scorched, the snow melted into a ring of mud. Bones poke through like weeds. The air stinks of copper and smoke, and at the base, chained to the trunk, sits a figure, thin, barefoot, wrapped in rags. They lift their head as you approach. Their eyes glow faintly blue like a dying ember. The child, except older, taller, face stretched with centuries, mouth cracked from too many winters. They smile, weak but knowing. Took you long enough. Your throat closes. What are you? They laugh, dry as old parchment. Once, a guest, then a fool, then a king. Now, just another ornament waiting for the branch to break. The Queen stiffens. This is her trick. The chained figure shakes their head. No trick, just tradition. Every intruder ends here. Every intruder becomes part of the tree. The feast feeds itself. The skulls above rattle louder, as if agreeing. You step closer despite yourself. Then how are you still alive? Their smile fades. Because I didn't choose, I hesitated, and the feast loves hesitation. It keeps me here, chained, forever almost ending. Their eyes lock on yours. Don't be me. The Queen raises her bow, arrow glowing faint. Enough riddles. How do we kill the tree? The figure laughs again, bitter. Kill the tree? You don't. You climb it. You hang on it. You become it. That's how it ends. You shake your head. No, there's another way. There has to be. The ground rumbles. The tree groans. Branches shift, skulls clattering like applause. Something moves in the trunk. A pulse. A heartbeat. The wood splits. Just a crack. Just enough to show red light glowing deep inside. The Queen grabs your arm. It's waking. The chained figure grins, teeth black. Then you'd better decide quick. The tree shudders again, louder this time. Roots tear through the mud, curling like claws. Skulls fall, shattering on the ground, their broken teeth still clicking. The air grows hot, choking, filled with the stink of blood that never dries. You clutch your chest, desperate for even a flicker of the blue flame. Nothing, just emptiness. The Queen raises her bow, fires at the trunk. The arrow embeds deep, glowing, but the tree laughs. The sound is wood splitting, bark groaning, skulls chattering. It laughs at her, at you, at everything. The chained figure leans forward, chains rattling. There's only one rule left. End yourself, or it ends you. The queen looks at you, her silver eyes burning. Don't listen, there's always another rule. The ground splits. Roots lash out, wrapping the queen's legs, yanking her off her feet. She fires wildly, arrows slicing branches, skulls exploding into dust. But more just swing down in their place. You dive forward, grab her hand, pull. But the roots tighten, dragging her closer to the trunk. The figure shouts, voice raw. Choose! Your fingers slip on her glove. The roots jerk. The queen screams. And the feast tree opens its trunk. Wide, a gaping red maw that smells like every corpse you ever feared becoming. It's waiting. For you, for her, for Christmas. The feast tree yawns wider, its trunk splitting with the wet crack of wood forced apart from the inside. The glow within is red, throbbing like a furnace that remembers it used to be a heart. Skulls clatter down from the branches, smashing in the mud, their teeth still chattering long after their faces are dust. The queen thrashes in the root's grip, silver eyes blazing as she fights, arrow after arrow slicing into the wood, but the tree only laughs louder. Its laugh is the creak of winter roofs collapsing, the groan of ice breaking under too much weight. You lunge forward, clawing at the roots wrapping her legs. They're slick with sap that smells like blood, sticky enough to glue your fingers together. You tear, you pull, you scream, but every piece you rip away grows back twice as thick. The tree groans again, dragging her closer, closer, toward the red maw splitting its trunk. She shouts your name, not as a plea, but as a command. Her bow falls from her hand, swallowed into the mud. You grab her wrist, dig in, refuse to let go. The roots strain. Your arm burns, your ribs grind. The chained figure at the base of the tree laughs bitterly, their cracked teeth flashing. Don't fight the feast. End yourself before it writes you into the story. You snarl back, shut up, but the words come out shredded. The figure only shrugs, rattling their chains like applause. You'll see, I've been waiting for centuries for someone foolish enough to believe there's another rule. You slam your free hand against your chest, desperate for the candle, the flame, anything, but the spark inside is gone, extinguished. Only ash remains. You cough, spit blood, and drag the queen 1 inch back. 1 inch. The roots hiss like snakes. The tree groans louder. The ground shudders. Branches shake, dropping more skulls that roll toward you, their empty sockets glowing faintly as if amused. The queen snarls, silver eyes burning even as her body is dragged. Let me go! You shake your head violently. Not happening! She slams her fist into your chest, weak but sharp. If you die too, then it all meant nothing. Do you hear me? Nothing. You grit your teeth, refusing. If you're going in, then so am I. She glares at you even as roots crawl higher up her body, binding her waist, her arms. Stupid, she spits. Always stupid. The chained figure cackles. Yes, always stupid. That's why the feast wins. You can't think. You can't breathe. And then you hear it. A sound. Faint. Familiar. Bells. But not the Hunter Queen's bells. Not the noble's mocking bells. Different. Lighter. Sweeter. A single handbell, ringing soft and steady, echoing through the valley. Ding, ding, ding. The feast tree shudders. Roots pause. The glow inside the trunk flickers. The queen freezes too, her eyes snapping wide. That bell! The chained figure hisses. No, not that. Not again. You twist toward the sound. At the edge of the valley, through the snow, stands a figure. Small, barefoot, veil gone. The child. Their ember eyes glow brighter than ever, their smile soft, almost kind. They ring the bell again, holding it in one small hand. Each ding slices through the valley like a blade of light. Ding, ding, the tree groans, furious. Roots whip through the air like snakes, trying to reach the child, but they move too slow. The bell is stronger. The skulls swing wildly, teeth clicking in panic. The chained figure screams, their body convulsing as if the sound is ripping them apart. Stop it! Stop it! You'll ruin everything! The child ignores them. Their ember eyes lock on you. You don't need the candle anymore, they say, their voice carrying across the valley as if the bell itself delivers it. You've been burning all along. Your throat closes. You press your palm to your chest. Heat flickers. not the blue flame. Something different. Raw. Red. Yours. You roar, hauling the queen backward with every ounce of strength left in your body. The roots tighten, tearing at your arms, but your chest erupts with fire. Not light. Fire. The snow around you melts in an instant, steam hissing. The skulls scream as their teeth crack. The feast tree howls, its trunk splitting wider. You seize one of the burning roots, ignoring the pain, and shove your fire into it. The root ignites, roaring up the trunk, flames spreading like veins. The tree thrashes, branches whipping, skulls bursting. The chained figure shrieks, their body combusting, chains melting. No, you can't end what never ends. The child's bell rings louder. Ding, ding, ding. The queen tears free, rolling across the mud, grabbing her bow with bloodied hands. She knocks an arrow, your fire crawling along the shaft. Her silver eyes lock on the trunk. Together, she says, voice fierce. You nod. Fire sears your arms, your throat, your chest. But you don't care. You grab the arrow with her, your hand on hers, your fire on her bowstring. The tree roars, splitting wider, its red maw vomiting heat and screams. The child rings the bell one last time. Ding. You release. The arrow explodes, fire and light surging into the feast tree's heart. The trunk bursts, red glow tearing free, skulls raining down in shattered silence. The ground collapses, roots writhing, flames consuming everything. The tree screams until it cracks apart, the sound echoing across the valley, shaking the mountains, rattling your bones. Then silence, smoke, ash. The tree is gone. Only charred roots remain, steaming in the snow. The queen collapses beside you, her chest heaving, her bow shattered. You fall too, coughing, your fire guttering, your body trembling on the edge of collapse. The child stands at the edge of the valley, bell silent now, their ember eyes dimmer. They smile. Large enough, then they vanish, leaving only the faintest echo of bells in the air. You close your eyes. The feast is over, or at least, you pray it is. Smoke clings to your throat like cobwebs that learn to strangle. Every breath is bitter, ash settling on your tongue until you can taste the tree that no longer stands. The ground is cracked where the feast tree burned, roots curled like corpses, soil steaming in the pale dawn. Snow falls again, thin and quiet, covering the ruins as if winter is desperate to pretend nothing happened. Your chest still glows faintly, each heartbeat pushing pain through your ribs like hot nails. You lie there staring at the white sky, half convinced it's going to split open with another bell. Beside you, the queen coughs. Her veil is gone, her hair plastered with sweat, her bow splintered into useless shards. She sits up slowly, silver eyes dulled but alive. We broke it, she whispers, more question than statement. You manage to rasp. For now. Your voice sounds like it belongs to someone else, someone burned, someone buried. She glances at you, frowning. For now is the only kind of victory there ever was. You push yourself to your knees, every joint trembling. The snow beneath you is black, charred from fire, but the flakes falling now already soften it, painting over truth with silence. The forest around the valley is still, too still. No laughter, no horns, no bells. Just quiet, and quiet is the scariest sound of all. The queen pulls herself up, unsteady but firm. We can't stay here. The feast doesn't forgive. You nod, forcing your legs to obey, though they feel carved from brittle glass. You stagger to your feet, ash falling from your coat. The two of you limp together away from the ruins, leaving the valley behind, though you know it will never really leave you. Snow thickens as you climb the ridge, heavy flakes swirling like shrouds. You shield your eyes with your hand, but the storm seems to follow you, each gust colder than the last. The queen stops suddenly, scanning the trees. Do you hear that? You strain. At first nothing, just wind, then faint. So faint you almost think it's your pulse. Singing. Not bells this time. A voice. Many voices. Carols. The words blur. Ancient. Not in any language you know, but the melody is unmistakable. Christmas songs. But twisted, wrong, stretched too thin, each note wobbling on the edge of collapse. The queen stiffens, arrowless but ready. They shouldn't be singing, not after the tree burned. You whisper, then who is it? The storm parts slightly, revealing a clearing ahead. In the center stands a long table, wooden, covered in snow. Around it, figures sit, their backs to you. Dozens of them. Some tall, some small, all slumped as if waiting. Their clothes are tattered, their hair stiff with frost, but their mouths move, singing, low, endless. The carol carries across the clearing, twisting your stomach. The queen grips your arm. Don't step closer, but one of the figures turns slowly and your blood freezes. It's you, your face, your body, burned, broken, ash drifting from your skin. Your mouth moves with the carol, but your eyes are hollow sockets, glowing faint blue. You stumble back. What? What is that? The queen's jaw tightens. Echoes. Offerings that refuse to leave. The other figures turn, one by one. Every face is familiar. Some are yours, some are hers, some are strangers. All broken, all hollow, all singing. Their voices rise louder, harsher, until the clearing vibrates with sound. The queen yanks you behind a tree, breathing hard. They're bound to the feast. If you listen too long, you join them. Your ears ring already, the carol gnawing into your skull. You press your palms against your head, shaking. Then how do we stop it? She doesn't answer. Her silence is worse than words. The singing grows louder, the figures rising from the table, their heads jerking, their jaws unhinging wider, until their throats tear. The carol becomes a scream. Snow melts around them. The ground shakes. The queen grabs your hand. Run! You don't argue. You tear through the trees, branches whipping your face, the scream carol chasing you like claws. Your lungs burn, your chest on fire again, your broken toes stabbing with every step. Behind the figures follow, their mouths still singing, their legs snapping in unnatural strides. The sound crawls up your spine, chewing on your brain. You stumble, nearly fall, but the queen drags you forward. The storm thickens again, snow blinding, wind howling. You lose the path, lose everything but pain and sound. Then the ground drops. You skid to a halt at the edge of a cliff. Below, nothing. Just fog, endless, thick as wool. The scream carol gets closer. The queen stares into the fog. Her silver eyes gleam. We jump. You choke. That's insane. She meets your gaze. So is everything else. Trust me. The figures burst from the trees, mouths wide, screams ripping the air. You grip her hand, eyes shut. Together, you leap. Cold devours you instantly. Fog closes over your head like drowning in cotton soaked with ice. You fall forever, your stomach tearing loose, your body numb. The scream fades. Sound dies. For a moment, there is only falling. Then, impact. You hit ground hard but soft, like snow that cushioned just enough not to kill. You gasp, roll over and open your eyes. It isn't snow. It's ash. You lie in a field of grey ash that stretches forever, flat and dead. The sky is black, the air heavy, the silence suffocating. The queen lands beside you, coughing, her hair and armor dusted grey. She pushes herself up, scanning the horizon. This isn't forest, you whisper. Her face is pale. No, this is after. You push to your knees, coughing, ash, trembling. The field is endless, no trees, no mountains, no stars, just grey. And far in the distance, faintly glowing, is a single house, small, crooked. Its windows flicker with firelight. The queen follows your gaze. We don't have a choice. You swallow. And if it's another trick? Her silver eyes harden. Then we end it. Together. You nod, your chest burning, your feet sinking into ash with every step. Together, you walk toward the house. The silence presses closer, thicker, as if the world itself is holding its breath. And behind you, faint, almost too quiet to hear, the bells start again. Ding, ding, ding. Ash clings to your boots with every step, a powdery drag that makes the ground feel like it's swallowing you whole. The queen walks beside you, her silver eyes fixed on the crooked house glowing faintly in the distance. The silence is total, broken only by the faint crunch of ash and the echo of bells, soft but constant. Ding, ding, ding. Each toll creeps closer, though you never see where it comes from. The air is heavy, as if sound itself has weight here, pressing down on your shoulders. You keep moving anyway, because stopping feels like surrender. The house grows larger, but slowly, impossibly slowly. It's like walking toward a painting that refuses to let you in. Smoke curls from its crooked chimney, smelling faintly of pine and burned sugar, a holiday scent ruined by rot. The queen mutters under her breath, Words you don't recognize, prayers or curses. It's impossible to tell the difference anymore. You glance at her, at the ash dusting her hair, her armor still cracked from roots. She looks tired, more human than you've ever seen her. That scares you more than the bells. Finally, after what feels like hours, but can't be more than minutes, you reach the crooked door. It's too small for the house, tilted on its hinges. You raise your hand to knock, then stop because the wood is warm, pulsing like skin. The queen steps ahead of you, grips the handle, and pushes. The door swings inward without resistance. Inside, warmth, real warmth. Firelight spills from a hearth at the far wall, flames licking high, snapping cheerfully. A table sits in the center of the room, draped in a red cloth, set with plates and goblets. Food steams on platters, roast bird, bread, sugared fruit. It smells intoxicating. For a moment your knees weaken. For a moment you forget ash blood bells. The queen grips your arm hard. Don't eat. Her voice snaps you out of it. You nod quickly, though your stomach growls so loud it feels like betrayal. You step closer to the table. Every chair is empty. The plates are full, the goblets brimming. Steam curls upward, vanishing into the rafters. The fire pops, but the house is otherwise still, too still. You whisper, "Who set this?" The queen doesn't answer. She's staring at the fireplace, because something is inside it. At first you think it's logs shifting, then you realize it's breathing. The flames ripple, bending around a shape. Slowly, impossibly, a figure leans out of the fire. Tall, thin, cloaked in black ash. Its face is covered by a mask carved from bone, its eyes twin sparks of blue fire. It steps onto the hearth, the flames hissing under its feet, and spreads its long arms. "Welcome," it says. Its voice is smooth, warm, inviting, like a host greeting guests to a holiday dinner. "You've traveled far, you've endured, you've burned, sit." It gestures to the chairs. You don't move. The queen raises what remains of her bow, splintered, but still dangerous. "We didn't come for supper." The masked figure chuckles. "Everyone comes for supper. That's all Christmas ever was, a feast, one that never ends. You think you destroyed the tree? Foolish. The tree was only the root. The feast lives here." It taps its chest. The sound is hollow, like wood. You tighten your fists. "Then who are you?" The mask tilts. "I am the host, the one who serves, the one who prepares, the one who waits when the kings fail, when the queens falter, when the hunters hesitate. I am what is left." The queen's silver eyes blaze. "Then you're what we end." The host laughs softly, shaking its head. "End me? End hunger? End tradition? Impossible. You can kill trees, burn crowns, shatter bells, but the feast always finds another table." It gestures to the food. "Tonight, you are that table. You are the centerpiece." The queen looses an arrow. It slams into the host's chest, burning bright. For a moment it looks like it works. For a moment you think he'll fall. Then the arrow dissolves into ash, and the host smiles. "I told you, I do not die." The fire roars higher, flames licking the ceiling, spilling across the rafters. The food on the table blackens, then reshapes itself. Roast bird becoming bones, bread becoming skulls, fruit dripping blood instead of juice. The goblets bubble thick and red. The smell curdles. The host spreads his arms again. "Eat, or be eaten. Those are the only rules." You shake your head violently. "No, there's another way. There always is." The queen grips your wrist. Her voice is sharp. "Think. The candle. The flame." You press your palm to your chest, searching, but it's barely there, just embers. Weak, fading. Not enough to fight. Not enough to burn. The host tilts his head. "Ah, yes. The candle. That stubborn little spark. It made you believe you were more than meat." Adorable. But fire burns out and hunger doesn't. He steps closer, towering now, his shadow swallowing the firelight. "So which will it be? Sit and eat or stand and die?" The queen lifts her broken bow again, her voice steady even as the walls groan. "We choose neither." The host chuckles. "Then you choose nothing. And nothing is always mine." The floor cracks. Ash pours upward, swirling into shapes. Figures rising from the ground, headless, armless but moving. They stagger toward you, groaning. their mouths carved into their chests, snapping with rows of jagged teeth. The queen shouts, "Move!" You grab the edge of the table, flip it, sending food and goblets crashing to the floor. The ash figures stumble, shrieking as blood spills across them, sizzling. You seize a burning log from the hearth, swinging it wildly, smashing skulls and scattering embers. The queen fights beside you, every arrow tipped with your shared embers, every strike splintering the ash creatures, but more keep rising. The host watches calmly, tilting his bone mask, sparks burning in his eyes. Struggle, rage, resist, it makes the feast sweeter. You pant, swinging until your arms nearly snap, sweat and blood mixing on your face. You shout, voice ragged, "Why us? Why this?" The host leans close, whispering through the mask, "Because you came hungry." The host's words slither into your ears, curling under your skin like worms that know where the marrow hides. Because you came hungry. Your grip tightens on the burning log, until sparks sting your wrist but you don't let go. The ash figures lurch closer, mouths snapping, ash crumbling from their bodies with every step. The queen fires again, her broken bow still singing when paired with the faint embers inside you. Each arrow hisses into a creature, unraveling it into smoke. But for everyone that falls, two rise from the floorboards, dragging themselves into shape like puppets assembling. The host spreads his arms, robe of cinders flaring. "See? You kill. They rise, you burn, they feast on ash. This is the rhythm, the song, the only carol worth remembering." His mask tilts, bone gleaming, eyes burning brighter. You cannot kill hunger. You stagger back, swinging the log, smashing an ash figure in half, only for its torso to crawl forward, jaws gnashing. "Maybe not," you rasp, "but hunger can starve." You slam your boot onto the torso, pinning it, and shove your ember hand into its chest. The creature bursts into sparks that scatter across the room. For a moment, the others freeze, as if uncertain. The queen seizes the pause. She grips your shoulder, silver eyes sharp. The bell. Do you hear it? At first you don't. Just crackling fire, the hiss of ash, the host's chuckle, then faint, distant. Ding, ding, ding. Not mocking this time. Not cruel. A rhythm steady, defiant, threading through the suffocating air. The child's bell, somewhere beyond this house. The host hears it too. His head snaps toward the sound. His sparks flare. No, not that. Not again. The queen snarls. He's afraid. The host slams his staff into the floor, the wood splitting. Flames burst up, forming a wall between you and the door. "The bell cannot reach you here. My table is sealed. You are mine." His voice rattles the rafters, makes dust rain from the beams. You spit blood into the fire. Then unseal it, and you hurl yourself into the flames. The queen shouts, but too late. You're already through. Heat sears your skin. Smoke claws your lungs. But the ember in your chest flares brighter, shielding you just enough. You burst out the other side, coat smoldering into the snow again. Cold slaps your face like mercy disguised as pain. The queen dives through after you, rolling, her hair smoking. She glares at you, half fury, half awe. "You'll get us both killed." You grin through blood. That's the plan. The host steps into the doorway, flames bending around him, his mask glowing red. "Run, little intruder. Run to your bell. I will follow, and when you fall, your crown will be set." The queen doesn't wait. She grabs your hand, pulling you into the storm. Snow swirls, ash mixing with it, black and white tangled like lies in prayer beads. The bell grows louder. Ding, ding, ding. You stumble toward it, lungs tearing, legs weak, but still moving. Always moving. The forest changes as you run. Trees lean inward, branches twisted, bark blackened like charcoal. Skulls hang from some, swinging on strings of sinew. Their teeth chatter as you pass, singing faint fragments of carols. Silent night, deadly night. Joy to the feast. Each lyric cuts like ice, but the bell keeps ringing, louder, stronger. Finally, you break into another clearing, and there at its center stands the child. Small, barefoot, ember eyes glowing brighter than ever. They hold the bell high, ringing it with calm precision. Ding, ding, ding. Each toll shakes the ground, scattering ash like frightened birds. The queen collapses to one knee, bow raised but trembling. "It's you, you're the root of it." The child smiles softly. "No, I'm the reminder." They ring the bell again. Ding, Ding. The snow melts in a circle around them, revealing black soil crawling with roots that twitch like worms. This place wants forgetting. I don't let it forget. You stagger closer, chest heaving. Then help us end it. The child tilts their head. End? You think there's an end? The feast has no end. Only pauses. Only new tables. Their smile fades. But you can choose where it pauses. Here. Or inside you. The host's voice booms from the trees, shaking branches, dropping skulls. Do not listen. That thing is mine, always mine. He steps into the clearing, towering, mask blazing, robe of ash swirling like a storm. The ground splits under his feet. Flames crawl across the snow. The child rings the bell again, louder, fierce. Ding! The host stumbles, clutching his mask, sparks flaring wild. The queen seizes the chance, knocking one last arrow, her silver eyes blazing. She looks at you. Embers, give me everything. You press your palm to your chest, scream, and shove the last of your fire into her bow. It glows white-hot, the wood trembling, the string humming like 1,000 voices. She draws, aiming at the host's mask. The child whispers, "Choose the pause." The queen looses. The arrow streaks, brighter than dawn. It slams into the host's mask, shattering bone. He roars, sparks exploding, flames collapsing inward. The ash creatures shriek as they dissolve, the skulls on the trees cracking one by one. The ground swallows fire, snow rushing in to smother it. The host collapses to his knees, hands clawing at his ruined mask. Beneath it, nothing, just black smoke pouring out, writhing. He gasps one last word, "Hungry." Then he implodes, ash scattering across the clearing, vanishing into the storm. Silence. The queen lowers her bow, chest heaving, blood dripping from her mouth. You fall to your knees, exhausted, burned, empty. The child lowers the bell, ember eyes dimming. They walk toward you, kneel and press the bell into your palm. It's cold, too cold. You kept the pause, they whisper. But remember, pauses end. Then they fade, dissolving into snow. You clutch the bell, trembling, staring at the empty clearing. The queen kneels beside you, her silver eyes softer now, tired. We did it. You shake your head slowly. No, we only bought time. The bell in your hand rings once, though you didn't move it. Ding. The bell rings in your hand. One sharp, hollow ding, and the sound ripples outward like a stone dropped into a frozen pond. The trees shiver. The snow stills. Even the wind seems to bow its head for a moment. You stare at the bell, trembling. You didn't move it. You didn't even breathe hard enough to shake it. Yet it rang as if announcing something you haven't agreed to. The queen steps closer, silver eyes narrowed, her bow hanging limp at her side. Put it down. Her voice isn't command, isn't plea, it's warning. You shake your head slowly. If I drop it, it rings again. If I hold it, at least I know when. The queen's jaw tightens. That's how it starts. That's how it gets you. The bell is light, deceptively so. Cold seeps into your palm, sliding through your veins like ice water. You swallow, clutching it tighter. Maybe it already has me. The queen doesn't argue. She just watches, unreadable, as if measuring whether she'll have to kill you before the bell does. Snow begins to fall again, heavy flakes spinning in lazy spirals. The clearing looks almost calm now, empty, silent, innocent. No host, no ash creatures, no skulls, just snow. But the air still feels charged, humming with something waiting. The queen exhales, slow, and finally speaks. We can't stay here. This pause won't last. You nod, forcing yourself to your feet. The bell dangles from your hand, silent now, though you feel its weight inside your chest. Together you limp from the clearing, the forest closing in around you once more. Hours pass, or minutes. Time bends here. The trees stretch taller, their branches twisting overhead like cathedral arches. Snow muffles your steps, though every crunch feels loud enough to wake something. You grip the bell tighter, trying not to think about it, failing every time. The queen breaks the silence. You know what happens if you keep it. You glance at her. Tell me. Her eyes stay forward. It rings, again and again, each ring shorter between, until the pause is gone, until the feast begins anew. Your throat closes. And if I destroy it? She shakes her head. You can't destroy sound, you can only change who hears it. The forest opens suddenly into a wide, frozen lake, The surface gleams pale under the weak dawn, a mirror cracked with veins of frost. In the center, a small island juts up, crowned with a single stone altar. Snow whips across it, hiding what's carved, but even from here you feel the pull. The queen halts, her breath steaming. There. You frown. There what? She nods toward the island. That's where you leave it. The bell grows colder in your hand, as if hearing her words. The soundless weight of it presses harder against your palm. You swallow. And if I don't? Her silver eyes meet yours, sharp as the frozen air. Then I'll take it from you. Silence stretches, you nod once. Fine. Together you step onto the lake. Ice groans under your weight, cracks spiderwebbing out with every step. The cold slices through your boots, numbing your toes, but you keep moving. Each step slower, careful. The altar looms closer, stone black against white snow. You can almost read the carvings now. Spirals, teeth, crowns, bells, always bells. Halfway across, the ice moans louder, a sound like a dying animal. You freeze, heart pounding. The queen doesn't stop. She strides forward, fearless, every step deliberate. Keep moving, she calls. You force yourself on, but then you hear it. A whisper. Not hers, not yours. From the bell. Hold me. You stumble, nearly dropping it. The queen glances back sharply. What? You shake your head, breath ragged. Nothing. The altar is close now. You can see the grooves in the stone. A hollow depression shaped exactly like the bell in your hand. Your stomach twists. Of course, it was waiting for you. The queen reaches the island first, climbing onto the altar with steady grace. She turns, hand outstretched. Give it to me. You hesitate. The bell is so cold now your skin sticks to it, burning with frostbite. You should hand it over. You should. But the whisper comes again, softer this time, pleading. Don't leave me. You'll need me. They'll come back. They always come back. Your chest tightens. The queen's eyes narrow. I see it in you. It's already speaking, don't listen. You take a step forward, then another. The altar looms, the hollow waits. Your hand shakes violently. The queen's voice hardens. Put it down. You raise your hand. For a heartbeat, you almost drop it into the hollow. Almost. But the whisper twists louder, desperate. If you leave me, she dies. If you leave me, you die. If you keep me, you win. The queen sees the hesitation. Her bow rises, no arrow, just wood splintered but sharp enough. Choose, she snaps. Now. The ice cracks beneath your feet, loud, jagged. Water surges up, freezing spray lashing your legs. The lake groans, ready to split. The whisper in your skull rises into a scream. Keep me. Wear me. Ring me. You look at the queen, at her silver eyes fierce and furious and afraid, at the altar, at the hollow, at the bell in your hand, and then, without thinking, you hurl it. Not into the hollow, into the ice. The bell smashes through the frozen surface, vanishing into black water. The sound that erupts is deafening, one final massive toll. Ding! The lake shatters. The altar splits. The queen lunges, grabbing your arm as the ice gives way beneath your feet. Together you fall into freezing water, lungs clamping, chest burning. The last thing you hear before the world goes silent is the echo of that final toll, ringing in your bones. Ding! Freezing water slams into your chest like a fist made of knives. The shock rips the air from your lungs before you even try to scream. Darkness swallows you, heavy, endless, the surface vanishing above in a haze of bubbles and ice shards. You thrash, arms flailing, but the weight of soaked clothes drags you down. Your chest burns, your body convulses, every instinct shrieking for air. The queen's grip on your arm is iron, her silver eyes glowing faintly even here. Her strength the only thing keeping you from vanishing into the black. You kick, desperate, and break through a jagged hole in the ice, gasping air that cuts like shards of glass in your throat. The queen surfaces beside you, coughing, her hair plastered to her skull. Waves slam against the ice edges, dragging you both under again, but she shoves you upward, her arm like steel around your chest. You claw at the fractured ice, pulling yourself half out, water streaming from your clothes. The world above spins, snowstorm, altar shards, fractured sky. Then, sound, a muffled toll, ding, from below. Your stomach knots. The bell. It didn't drown. It rang underwater. The queen hauls herself beside you, chest heaving, her lips blue but her eyes still sharp. "We need to move," she rasps. "Now." The ice groans, veins splitting wider, water bubbling through. Something rises beneath the surface. Shapes, dozens, maybe hundreds. Pale hands clawing upward, faces eyeless, mouths wide. The drowned. Their fingers scrape the underside of the ice, nails shrieking as they drag. Their mouths move in unison, bubbles rushing out in frantic prayers. The sound grows clearer, louder, twisting into words you don't want to understand. Ring, ring, ring. You scramble forward, crawling across fractured ice that tilts under your weight. The queen follows, slower, her limbs stiff, teeth clenched against the cold. Behind you, water explodes upward, a drowned one breaching, its jaw unhinged, its mouth filled with shards of bell metal. It screams, a wet metallic sound that rattles your bones. You swing your fist, knuckles cracking against its skull. The creature bursts into water and steam, vanishing, but more claw-free, tearing at the ice, dragging themselves onto the surface. Their bodies are swollen, flesh cracked, ribs jutting like jagged reefs. Each carries a fragment of the bell in its chest, glowing faint blue. Each tolls when they step, the ice vibrating. The queen rips a shard of broken altar from the ground, stone jagged, and swings it like a blade. She smashes one drowned creature apart, then another, her breath ragged but steady. You grab a chunk of frozen wood, beating back claws, splinters stabbing your palms. The lake becomes chaos, water exploding, ice cracking, drowned ones tolling with every move. Then you hear it again, not from the creatures, from the water itself. Ding! The sound swells, rising through your feet, up your spine. The ice beneath you pulses like a heartbeat. Cracks spread outward, glowing faint blue. The drowned ones shriek in ecstasy, throwing themselves into the fissures, feeding the sound. The queen staggers, shouting over the roar. It's still alive. The bell lives in them now. You swing wildly, chest on fire, lungs searing, body ready to collapse. Then how do we kill it? Her silver eyes flash. We don't. We bury it deeper. The ice erupts. A massive hand claws upward, dwarfing the others, fingers made of shattered bell fragments fused with bone. The lake convulses as something enormous rises, water cascading from its shoulders. Tiny figure towers above, taller than trees, its head a cracked bell, its body stitched from drowned flesh and stone. Each movement tolls. Ding, ding. The sound makes your vision blur, your ears bleed. The queen grips your arm, dragging you across breaking ice. Run! You sprint, legs screaming, the surface tilting beneath you, fissures chasing your heels. Behind, the bell giant takes its first full step onto the lake, ice collapsing under its weight, but somehow holding. Its head tilts, mouthless, eyeless, yet focused. Each toll shakes snow from the sky, thunderous, endless. The queen hurls the altar shard, smashing it into the giant's chest. It cracks, steam erupting, but the wound seals instantly, bell fragments knitting together. The queen curses, pulling you onward. It can't be broken, only bound. You stumble onto the far bank, collapsing in the snow, chest heaving. The queen follows, falling to her knees, frost clinging to her lips. Behind you, the giant wades closer, every toll a hammer against your skull. You choke out, "How do we bind it?" She lifts her head, silver eyes burning through exhaustion. With silence, you stare, horrified. How? Her gaze flicks to your chest. Your embers. They're not fire anymore. They're the pause. You burn silence now. Your blood runs cold. If I use it, you stop it, she says. Or you stop breathing. One or the other. The bell tolls again. Ding. The giant reaches the shore, water rushing off its body, freezing mid-air into jagged spears. Its steps crack the earth, each movement an earthquake. Snow collapses from the trees, burying roots, shaking the world. You clutch your chest, feel the faint glow still flickering, weaker with every heartbeat. The queen grips your shoulder, fierce, unyielding. Choose, end it or wear it. The giant raises its bellhead, the crack glowing bright, preparing one final toll. You close your eyes and let the silence burn. It erupts from your chest, not light, not fire, absence. The sound cuts off mid-toll, strangled, the air collapsing inward. The world shakes as silence devours everything, the roar of the giant, the crack of the ice, even your own heartbeat. For a moment you hear nothing at all. Then the bell shatters. The giant collapses into shards, scattering across the lake, sinking into the black. The drowned ones burst into steam, their mouths closing forever. The ice stills. The storm halts. Silence remains. Too much silence. You collapse, clutching your chest, gasping, but no sound comes out, no breath, no voice, just silence. The queen kneels beside you, hands on your shoulders, her mouth moving. You see her words. You don't hear them. Your embers are gone. All that's left is quiet. The world is smothered, soundless, empty. The silence doesn't just cover your ears, it crawls under your skin, fills your throat, burrows into your skull. You try to speak, but no words escape. Only air that vanishes before it exists. You try to scream, but silence eats it whole. Your chest heaves, but your heartbeat makes no noise. The pause you unleashed hasn't stopped. It clings to you, owns you. The queen shakes your shoulders, her mouth forming shapes, silver eyes wild, desperate. You see every syllable her lips create, but nothing reaches you, not even her breath. She's soundless too. The snow falls around you, flakes hitting your skin, but there's no whisper when they land. The forest is frozen in quiet, a cathedral without choir. You shove her away, staggering to your feet. Your lungs rasp with effort, but the silence twists each gasp into nothing. You punch your chest, begging for sound, begging for the ember to spark again. Nothing, just quiet. Your stomach drops into a pit of dread. This is worse than bells, worse than the feast. This is nothingness, stretched infinite. The queen points toward the tree line, her bow useless now, her face pale. She wants to move anywhere but here. You nod, unable to answer, and stumble after her. The forest doesn't crunch beneath your boots. The trees don't creak in the wind. Your footsteps leave prints in the snow, but no echo follows. The deeper you go, the heavier the quiet becomes, pressing down on your shoulders, your skull, until you feel buried alive. The queen glances back at you often, her lips moving in frantic whispers, as if trying to anchor herself with words she knows you can't hear. Hours or seconds drag by. Time bends in silence. Then you see it. A cabin. Not crooked, not ruined. Simple. Wooden walls. A smoking chimney. Warm light flickering through its single window. A place that could belong in any village, any winter, any Christmas that didn't bleed. The queen halts. Her mouth moves. No. She shakes her head hard. Not real, but warmth leaks from the cracks, a smell you know too well. Bread, roasted meat, apples spiced with cinnamon. Your mouth waters instantly. Your legs move before you think, dragging you forward. The queen grabs your arm, yanking you back, her silver eyes blazing. She shouts, silent, but you know the words. Trap. You want to agree. You want to stop. But the warmth calls, louder than silence. You rip free from her grip and stagger toward the cabin, the snow swallowing your legs. She curses, soundless, and runs after you. You reach the door first. Your hands shake as you push it open. It creaks. At least you think it does, because you see the wood move, but no sound reaches. The door swings wide. Inside, everything you ever wanted. A table laden with food, more than the castle feast, more than the altar. Golden turkeys, pies steaming, mugs brimming with mulled wine. Stockings hang by the hearth. A tree glitters in the corner, lights flickering like captured stars. And around the table, seated and smiling, are faces you know, your family. They laugh, but no sound comes. They gesture for you to sit, to eat, to join. Their mouths form words you can't hear, but you know them. We missed you. We love you. Come home. Your knees buckle. Tears burn your eyes. You stumble forward. The queen grabs you again, spinning you around, her face inches from yours. Her lips snarl. Not them. Not real. Don't look. She shoves you hard against the wall, her eyes fierce. You shake your head violently, pointing toward the table, toward your family. She slaps you, sharp, silent. You freeze. Her lips shape the words slowly, so you can't mistake them. If you eat, you end. Your chest heaves, lungs straining against silence. You clutch your hair, torn between hunger and terror. The queen grips your chin, forcing your eyes back to hers, anchoring you with silver fire. Stay with me. You nod, barely. The illusion wavers. Your family's faces blur, melting into hollow masks, eyes glowing faint blue. Their mouths still move, but now the words twist. Hungry, hungry, hungry. The feast calls. You rip your gaze away, squeezing your eyes shut. When you open them, the table is gone. The tree is ash. The stockings are bone. The hearth spits black smoke, and seated around the table are not your family, but the drowned ones. Their mouths gape, silent screams. Each has a bell shard lodged in their throat. The queen pulls you back toward the door. You stumble after her, both of you clawing through smoke and silence, until you burst into snow again. The cabin is gone. The forest stretches endless. You collapse in the snow, gasping uselessly. Tears freeze on your cheeks. The queen kneels beside you, clutching your face in both hands. Her eyes soften. Her lips shape one word: fight. You nod weakly. The silence presses closer, heavier, suffocating. But you cling to her eyes, her fire, her presence. You cling to the pain in your chest, the cold on your skin. You cling to the truth that hunger lies. The forest trembles, far off, faint, so faint. You hear it. Not a bell, not a scream, a heartbeat, yours. Your chest flickers, a spark, small, fragile, but real. The queen's lips curve into the faintest smile. She sees it too. The silence cracks. The silence fractures like thin glass under a stone. At first, it's just a hairline crack, barely there, fragile, almost imagined. Then the crack spreads, branching through the air itself. You hear it, faint but real, a tick. Not bells, not singing, just one tiny, ordinary sound. The queen jerks her head up, silver eyes wide, her mouth forming a word you don't need hearing to understand. Alive. Your chest burns, the spark inside fluttering like a moth that refuses to die. You slam your fist against your sternum, forcing it brighter. Another sound breaks through, your breath ragged, weak but audible. Then your heartbeat thudding against your ribs. Each beat shatters more silence. Each thud tears another crack through the suffocating quiet. The queen grips your shoulders, steadying you, her lips moving. This time, you hear her voice, faint and hoarse. Fight it. You nod, gasping. The spark grows into a flicker, the flicker into a flame. Sound rushes back all at once, wind howling through the trees, snow hissing as it falls, the queen's ragged breaths. It's overwhelming, too much after endless silence, but it's life. It's proof. The forest groans. The crack you opened doesn't just free you, it wakes something else. From the ground beneath the snow, deep rumbles echo. The trees shiver, their roots twisting. The queen staggers, pulling you back. No, it's feeding. The earth splits, hands claw upward, bony, rotten, stitched from centuries of feasts. Not drowned ones, not nobles. Older, hungrier. Entire skeletons fused with roots dragging themselves free. Their jaws snap, their skulls cracked, their rib cages stuffed with bells that toll every time they move. Ding! The sound blasts across the forest, shaking branches, rattling your teeth. Ding! More rise, pulling free, their hollow sockets burning faint blue. The ground becomes a grave, vomiting its guests back to the table. The queen yanks you toward a ridge, but the skeletons block every path, bells tolling in rhythm. She fires arrow after arrow, each tipped with your ember flame, each strike blowing bones apart. But the fragments knit back together, rising again, tolling louder. You clutch your chest, feeling the flames stutter. Not enough to burn them all, not enough to end this. Then you see it. The altar shard the queen once wielded, half buried in the snow where the silence cracked, its carving still faintly glowing. Spirals, crowns, bells, always bells. You stagger to it, ripping it from the ground. The stone hums in your hand, vibrating with sound older than words. The skeletons turn in unison, bells tolling louder, drawn to the shard. The queen snarls, fighting them back, but they ignore her, their sockets fixed on you. The shard thrums, begging. Strike the ground. You raise it high, teeth clenched, and slam it down. The forest erupts. A wave of sound explodes outward. No melody, no carol, just raw noise. The skeletons shatter, bones scattering across the snow, their bells cracking into dust. The ground heaves, snow blasting into the air. You're thrown backward, the shard flying from your hand. When you land, the forest is quiet again. Too quiet. The queen limps to your side, her face pale. What did you do? You shake your head, dazed. I don't know. Then you hear it. Not bells, not silence, footsteps. From the ridge ahead, figures appear. Dozens, hundreds. Not skeletons, not drowned ones. People, flesh, blood, faces, children, women, men. Their eyes glow faintly, their mouths slack, their steps in perfect unison. Each carries something. Platters, goblets, knives, candles. A procession. The queen curses under her breath. The feast called its guests. The crowd halts at the edge of the clearing. One steps forward. A man, tall, his face half burned, half frozen. He lifts a goblet, his voice carrying like a sermon. The table waits. The crown is set. The fool is chosen. His gaze locks on you. The queen shoves you behind her, bow raised. No, not him. The crowd murmurs, voices blending into a low chant. Fool, fool, fool. The man raises the goblet higher. Without the fool, the feast collapses. Without the fool, hunger starves. Without the fool, winter ends. Will you starve the world, intruder? Your throat tightens. The crowd stares, their glowing eyes hollow yet demanding. The queen grips your arm. Don't listen. But your ember flickers violently. The shard's vibration still hums in your bones. The whisper curls again. Wear it. End it. Pause it. The queen turns to you, fierce. It's a lie. Every crown, every bell, every feast lies. Don't be the fool. The man smiles faintly, sipping from his goblet. But he already is. The crowd erupts into laughter, dry, brittle, endless. Bells toll again, not from throats, not from hands, but from the air itself. Ding, ding, ding. The forest shakes. The ground splits. And from the cracks, something rises. Not a tree, not a king, not a queen, a throne, carved from bone, draped in red cloth, studded with bells that ring with every movement. It grows taller, wider, anchoring itself in the center of the clearing. The crowd bows in unison. The man gestures toward it. Sit. The queen snarls, planting herself between you and the throne. Over my dead body. The ember in your chest burns hotter. The throne hums, bells vibrating, pulling at you, calling. Your legs twitch. Your hands shake. The crowd chants louder. Sit, sit, sit. The queen grabs your face, forcing your eyes to hers, her voice sharp. You end this another way. You hear me? Another way. But the throne waits, and the ember inside you knows exactly how comfortable it would feel to finally stop running. The throne hums like a living organ, every bell stitched to its frame, vibrating in anticipation. The air around it bends, thick, syrupy, dragging at your lungs. Your knees itch to bend, your spine aches to bow. It isn't a command, it's gravity pulling you toward the seat. The queen snarls, planting her body in front of you, bow raised though it has no arrow. Don't look at it. Her voice shakes with effort. Look at me, but you already feel it in your marrow. Sit, sit, sit. The chant is no longer just the crowd. It's your blood, your heartbeat, your breath. Sit. You clutch your chest, digging your nails in, trying to hold onto the ember still glowing faintly inside. The spark flickers, weak, smaller with each pull of the throne. The queen grips your arm hard enough to bruise. Fight it. Don't give it your weight. Don't give it your pause. The man with the goblet steps closer, his burned face split by a smile. Why resist? He's already worn it. He carries the silence. He carries the fire. He carries the hunger. He is the fool, whether he sits or not. Let him rest. Let him pause for us all. The crowd bows deeper, their voices a storm of whispers. Pause, pause, pause. Your vision blurs. The throne fills your sight. The bells ring without sound, vibrating through your bones. You stumble forward, one step. The queen yanks you back, slapping your face. Stay with me, she roars. Stay! You choke, tears freezing on your lashes. I can't. The ember flares suddenly, like it heard your despair. It burns hot in your ribs, sending a pulse through your body. The throne falters, the chant stutters. The crowd hisses, angry. The queen seizes the moment, shoving you behind her. She raises her bow, silver eyes blazing. Then I'll end it for you. She fires. The last ember inside you leaps into the arrow, lighting it bright as dawn. It streaks across the clearing, slamming into the throne. Bells burst. The cloth ignites. The bone cracks. The crowd screams, staggering, their eyes flaring blue before dimming. The throne shudders, splinters. Then it reforms. Bigger, hungrier. The bells ring louder, the red cloth reshaping itself, bone weaving back into a seat wider, taller, more terrible. The queen staggers back, horror in her eyes. No, it feeds on resistance. The man with the goblet laughs, deep and terrible. Did you think you could destroy tradition with arrows? With silence? No. You only polish it. You only make it shine brighter. He raises the goblet high, liquid black and steaming. Sit, fool, end the feast by beginning it. The crowd howls. Sit, sit, sit. The queen drops her bow, her breath ragged, her strength almost gone. She grabs your face again, her silver eyes wet. Then burn it. Burn yourself if you have to, but don't you dare sit. You shake, fire and silence colliding in your chest, your body splitting from the inside. You can't hold it. Not much longer. The throne pulls. The ember pushes. The crowd chants, the queen begs, the man waits, and then you hear it. The bell. Not the throne's bells. Not the drowned ones. The child's bell. Faint. Distant. But real. Ding. The crowd stumbles, hissing. The throne shakes. The man snarls, his goblet spilling black liquid into the snow. No, not again. That child is nothing. Ding. The sound grows louder, closer, sharper. The trees tremble. The air cracks. The queen gasps, her head snapping toward the sound. They're here. And then, the child steps into the clearing, small, barefoot, ember eyes glowing brighter than stars. They ring the bell again, soft but unyielding. Ding, ding, ding. Each toll shakes the throne, splintering it, making the bells clash out of tune. The crowd screams, clawing at their ears, their bodies shaking apart. The man with the goblet drops to his knees, snarling. No, you ruin the feast, you starve us. The child smiles, gentle, almost sad. Then starve. They toss the bell high into the air. It spins, glowing brighter, louder, until the sound fills the clearing, the forest, the world. Ding, 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 the throne cracks. The cloth burns away. The bells shatter, shards raining like deadly snow. The crowd collapses, dissolving into ash. The man screams, his goblet bursting, his body splitting into smoke. The queen shields you, her arms around you as the sound crescendos. Your ember burns white hot, bursting out of your chest, spilling into the clearing, into the throne, into the feast itself. For a heartbeat, you are everything. Fire, silence, hunger, pause. You are the feast and the fool, the king and the crown, the bell and the silence between rings. And then it ends. The throne is gone. The crowd is gone. The goblet man is gone. Only snow remains, falling softly, indifferent, blank. You collapse, chest heaving, ember guttering but still there. The queen kneels beside you, trembling, tears on her cheeks. You didn't sit, she whispers. You didn't. The child stands at the edge of the clearing, their ember eyes dimmer now, their smile faint. Large enough, then they vanish, leaving only the faint echo of a bell. Ding. Snow drifts in lazy spirals, settling over the clearing as if to bury everything that just happened. The forest is quiet now. No bells, no carols, no laughter. Only the hiss of wind through skeletal branches. You lie flat on your back, staring up at the grey sky, lungs dragging air that tastes like ash and ice. Your chest aches where the ember flickers, faint but alive. Not silence anymore, not fire either. Something in between, something waiting. The queen collapses beside you, her breath ragged, silver eyes dulled. She stares at the empty ground where the throne once stood, jaw tight. It's gone, she whispers. Her voice is hoarse, raw. For now. You swallow, your throat dry. That's all we ever get, isn't it? For now. She doesn't answer. You push yourself up, every bone screaming, and glance around. The snow has already hidden the ash, the cracks in the ground, the fragments of bells. The forest looks untouched, as if none of it ever happened. That terrifies you more than the throne, because if it can erase itself, it can repeat itself. The queen stands unsteadily, her bow broken in her hand. She watches the tree line, waiting, expecting. Nothing comes. She exhales shakily. We should move. You nod, forcing your legs to carry you. The two of you limp into the forest again, leaving the clearing behind. Hours pass. At least you think they do. The sky never changes. Always grey, always pale, always stuck between night and day. The snow deepens, swallowing your steps. The trees grow thicker, their branches twisting like ribs. You lose track of direction quickly. North, south, east. Meaningless here. The queen keeps glancing at you, her eyes sharp. Finally, she breaks the silence. You still feel it, don't you? You hesitate, then nod. It's not gone, the ember, the pause. It's still inside me. Her mouth tightens. That's why they won't stop. As long as you carry it, they'll follow. You laugh bitterly, the sound raw. So I'm not the fool on the throne, I'm the fool who runs forever. She doesn't deny it. The forest opens into another clearing. At its center stands a well. Stone, old, covered in frost. Its rim is cracked, its mouth dark, endless. Snow piles high around it, untouched. The queen halts instantly, her hand gripping your arm. Don't, you frown. It's just a well. She shakes her head hard. Nothing is just anything here. But the well hums. Faint, familiar. The same vibration that rattled the altar shard, that throbbed in the throne, that pulses in your chest. You step closer, drawn, despite her grip. The hum deepens, crawling into your bones. You peer into the darkness. At first nothing, just black. Then movement, shapes shifting deep below, eyes opening, blue, hundreds, thousands. The hum becomes words, layered, distorted. Ring, feast, sit, pause. You stumble back, clutching your head. The queen yanks you farther, snarling. Don't listen. The well erupts. A geyser of black water bursts upward, freezing mid-air into shards that rain down like knives. Figures rise with it, long, thin, skeletal, their bodies dripping shadow. They crawl over the rim, dragging themselves onto the snow. Their mouths are stitched shut. Their eyes glow blue. Each carries a rope, frayed and knotted. The queen curses, raising her broken bow. They're binders. You choke. Binders? She nods, grim. They don't eat. They chain. They tie the fool until the throne grows again. The binders scuttle forward, ropes whipping through the air like snakes. One lashes around your wrist, burning cold. You scream, yanking back, but the rope tightens, digging into your skin, spreading frost up your arm. The queen hacks at it with a shard of bone, snapping it free, but two more ropes lash out, binding your legs. You fall hard into the snow, thrashing, the ropes crawling higher. The binders hiss through their stitched mouths, the sound wet and muffled. The queen fights savagely, stabbing and tearing, but every binder she cuts down dissolves into shadow and reforms at the well. Endless. Your ember flickers violently, reacting to the ropes. The binders hiss louder, drawn to it, tightening, pulling. Your chest burns, brighter, hotter. The ropes smoke where they touch, but they don't let go. They want it. They want you. You slam your palm against your chest, forcing the ember outward. Silence erupts, blasting the ropes apart. The binders stagger back, hissing. The queen seizes the moment, dragging you upright. Move! You stumble together through the clearing, binders chasing, ropes snapping at your heels. The well boils, shadows spilling over, flooding the snow. The hum rises into a roar. Ring, feast, pause. The queen snarls, firing one last arrow into the well. It plunges deep, glowing with your ember's light. For a heartbeat, the hum stutters. The binders falter. Then the well explodes, shadow geysering skyward, blotting out the grey. You both dive into the trees as the clearing collapses behind you, swallowed by black water. You don't stop running until your lungs give out, until your legs collapse, until the forest stretches endless in every direction. You fall to your knees, coughing blood into the snow. The queen drops beside you, trembling, her silver eyes hollow. Neither of you speak. There's nothing left to say. The ember flickers faint in your chest. The well's hum lingers in your ears. The binder's ropes left marks on your skin, frost-bitten rings around your wrists and ankles. You realize the truth. The feast never dies. It only changes its mouth. And this time, the mouth is you. The frost burns deeper than fire ever could. Rings of white scald your wrists and ankles where the binders touched you. Marks etched into your flesh like shackles no knife could cut. You rub at them uselessly, the skin numb and throbbing at once. The queen watches, her face unreadable, her bow hanging loose at her side. Finally she speaks, her voice hoarse. They marked you. They won't stop now. You laugh bitterly, the sound shredded. They weren't stopping before. Her silver eyes flicker. No, but now they know exactly where to pull. The ember in your chest sputters, angry, restless. Each flicker pulses against the frost marks, sending jolts through your limbs. You grimace, clutching your chest. The queen crouches, gripping your chin, forcing your eyes to hers. Listen to me. You cannot give in, do you understand? No matter what they show you, no matter what they promise, don't let them seat you. You want to answer yes, to nod, to promise. But the truth claws inside your throat. I don't know how much longer I can fight. Her hand tightens, fierce, desperate. Then I fight for you. Snow howls suddenly, a wind screaming through the trees so fierce it rips branches free. You and the queen stagger, shielding your faces. The storm swallows the forest whole, white devouring black, air devouring breath. In the maelstrom, voices rise, hundreds, thousands, all chanting the same word. Fool, fool, fool. You can't see the queen anymore. You can't see anything, just white, just snow, just endless. You stumble, arms flailing, the frost marks burning hotter. The ember thrashes inside, fighting, clawing, feeding. Then, a shape. Through the storm, you see a glow, warm, golden. A house, another house, bigger than the last, its windows glowing with firelight, smoke curling from its chimney. Laughter drifts through the snow, faint but unmistakable. Your heart clenches. The queen's voice cuts faintly through the gale. Don't look at it. But you already are. The storm pushes you forward, feet dragging through the snow toward the golden light. Your chest heaves, your legs shake, but the warmth pulls harder than fear. The queen appears suddenly, grabbing your arm, her face inches from yours, her eyes furious. Not real, fight it. You tear free, stumbling toward the house. The queen snarls, lunges, tackles you into the snow. You both roll, teeth rattling, fists striking. Not enemies, not allies, just survival tearing itself in two. You slam your palm into her shoulder, shoving her back, and crawl toward the light. Then you hear it. Voices, not chants, not carols. Familiar. Your family again. Your name spoken with love. The sound of home, tears blind you. You stumble forward, half crawling, half falling. The queen screams your name behind you, roar, but the storm drowns her out. The house looms closer, golden light spilling across the snow. You reach for the door, your frost-burned hand trembling, and it opens before you touch it. Inside, warmth, a table, food, faces, laughter. Real, not illusion, real. It has to be. Your mother rises, her arms open. Come home. You take one step inside. The queen slams into you from behind, dragging you out, hurling you into the snow. You crash, gasping, clawing for the doorway. But it's gone. Just storm, just snow, just wind. The queen straddles you, her hand at your throat, silver eyes blazing. It's not real, she roars. It will never be real. You thrash, weak, broken, sobbing. Then what's left? Her grip tightens, not to choke, but to hold you steady. Me, she says, her voice cracking. Only me. The words slice deeper than any rope. The storm falters. The chanting fades. Snow falls softer, slower. The ember steadies, burning hot in your chest, forcing the frost marks to retreat an inch. You collapse back into the snow, exhausted, broken, but alive. The queen releases your throat, her hands trembling. She sits back, her breath shaking, her eyes wet. Silence hangs heavy. Finally, she whispers, "They'll never stop. Not until you're seated. Not until the crown is worn." You close your eyes, chest burning. Then maybe I need to end it another way. Her head snaps up. Don't. But the ember whispers in your bones. Burn yourself. Burn it all. Leave nothing to feed. You open your eyes, staring at the endless grey sky. If I burn, the feast starves. The queen seizes your face, shaking her head violently. No, that's what it wants you to think. It doesn't starve. It waits. You end, and it waits for the next fool. Tears sting your eyes. Then what choice do I have? She stares at you, silver eyes fierce, breaking. Choose me, choose to fight with me, not alone. The ember flares hotter, like it agrees, or mocks. You can't tell. The storm dies completely, leaving the forest quiet again. Too quiet. always too quiet, and in that silence one sound creeps back. A bell. Ding. But not distant this time. Inside your chest. The bell tolls inside your chest, soft but undeniable, a vibration that ripples through your ribs, echoing into the frost marks on your wrists and ankles. Ding. Not loud, not painful. Worse, gentle, like it belongs there, like it always belonged. Your eyes widen, panic surging, but the Queen sees it instantly. Her face hardens. No. She crawls closer, gripping your shirt, silver eyes blazing. Don't you let it in. You gasp, clutching your chest. I'm not... But the words break as another toll shudders through you. Ding. It's steady, rhythmic, syncing with your heartbeat. Your ember flickers with every pulse, the flame bending to the sound. The Queen snarls, shaking you. Fight it. The snow around you shifts, dragged inward by the resonance. Frost creeps up your legs, chains of ice forming from the marks, binding you back to the ground. The forest groans. Trees lean closer, their branches rattling like teeth, and faint, on the wind, the chant begins again. Fool, fool, fool. You scream, punching your chest, desperate to smother the sound. The ember flares violently, fire surging outward, melting the ice, shattering the snow. The bell falters, a hitch in the rhythm. The Queen grabs your face, forcing your eyes to hers. That's it. Your fire, not theirs, burn louder than the ring. You nod, trembling, forcing the ember brighter. Fire sears your veins, spilling heat into the snow, melting a circle around you. The bell tolls again, trying to smother it, but you roar through clenched teeth, forcing fire higher. Steam erupts, smoke hisses, the forest wails. The Queen pulls back, raising her bow. She plunges its broken tip into the snow, channeling your ember through it, amplifying the burn. Light floods the clearing, red and white, clashing with the blue glow of the bell inside you. The forest screams, shadows writhing, the chant breaking into shrieks. And then, the ground splits. The throne rises again. Not bone this time, not cloth, not bells, stone. Carved black, massive, ancient, its surface etched with spirals, crowns, ropes. It towers taller than the trees, each crack glowing blue. Bells dangle from its arms, tolling in rhythm with your chest. Ding, ding, ding. The forest bows to it, snow pouring down like confetti. The Queen staggers back, horror etched across her face. It's not outside anymore. It's you. Your stomach drops. The throne pulses with your heartbeat, every ember flicker carving it taller, stronger. You fall to your knees, clutching your head. I'm feeding it. The Queen grips your shoulders, desperate. Then stop. I can't. The throne rumbles, bells clashing into a deafening chorus. The chant rises again, louder than ever. Sit, sit, sit. The frost marks blaze, chains tightening, dragging you toward the throne's base. The Queen yanks at them, screaming, but the ice burns her hands. She refuses to let go. You thrash, sobbing. If I burn it out of me, I die. Her silver eyes meet yours, fierce, wet with tears. Then die fighting, not sitting. The ember sears hotter, your chest glowing through your skin. The throne cracks wider, light spilling like fire. The chant becomes laughter, wild, endless, echoing through the trees. You scream, forcing the ember higher, brighter, until your body shakes, bones splitting, veins bursting. Fire and bell clash inside you, tearing you apart. The Queen clutches you tighter, her voice raw. Stay with me. Don't let them take you. Your vision blurs. The throne looms closer, chains dragging you across the snow. You claw at the ground, nails snapping, blood staining the ice. The Queen dives beside you, anchoring herself to your body, fighting the pull. If you go, I go, she snarls. The ember erupts, a pillar of fire blasting into the sky. The throne shudders, bells screaming, the chant twisting into agony. Shadows writhe, the forest convulses, the ground splits deeper. You collapse, gasping, chest burning out of control. The Queen shields you, screaming against the roar. And then, the child appears, small, barefoot. Ember eyes glowing white-hot, brighter than ever. They step between you and the throne, calm, steady. Their bell rings once, clear, sharp, ding. The throne cracks, the chains snap, the chant dies. The child turns, ember eyes locking on yours. It isn't a throne, they whisper. It's a mirror. You stare, trembling. What? The child kneels, placing their hand on your chest. The ember surges to meet them, brighter, hotter. You keep calling it large. You keep making it more. But it only reflects what you give. Stop feeding it, stop naming it. The queen grips your arm, her voice fierce. Do it. End it. You close your eyes, the ember raging. The bell tolls inside, louder, desperate. Ding. Ding, ding, you grit your teeth, whispering through blood and fire. No throne, no feast, no fool. The ember collapses inward, folding into silence. The throne shatters. Bells burst, stone cracking into dust. The forest screams one last time, and then falls silent. Real silence. Not suffocating, not endless, just quiet. You collapse into the snow, chest hollow, ember gone. The queen kneels over you, her hands shaking, her silver eyes wide with terror. Stay with me, please. The child stands, their bell fading, their ember eyes dimming. Large enough, they whisper, for now, and then they vanish. The forest is empty. The snow falls soft. The throne is gone. But so is your fire. Your chest feels hollow, like someone scooped the ember out with a knife and left only emptiness behind. Every breath is shallow, weak. Each inhale tastes like snow melting on steel. You lie in the drift, too heavy to move, while the queen kneels over you. Her hands press against your chest, not to heal but to keep you tethered. Her lips move first in prayer, then in curses, then in silence. She looks like she's losing something she promised herself she'd never lose again. You whisper, voice faint, cracked. It's gone. Her silver eyes flick to yours, furious. No, not gone. Resting. You shake your head weakly. No flame. No pause. Nothing left. The queen's hands tremble. Then I'll carry you until it returns. Snow drifts heavier, muffling the world in white. The forest looks calm, almost peaceful, but you both know it's a lie. Every shadow still waits. Every root still twitches. Every silence still listens. The throne is gone, but its echo lingers in your hollow chest. You feel it, the weight of a feast that doesn't need fire to call you. The queen lifts you to your feet, draping your arm over her shoulder. She's strong still, even exhausted, dragging your body through snow. You stumble beside her, half dead, half dreaming. Each step is agony, but forward is the only direction left. Hours or seconds pass. The forest thins, the trees spreading wider apart. A horizon emerges, white plains, stretching endless. The queen halts, breath steaming. The border. Your head lolls. Border of what? Her silver eyes narrow. Of this story. You blink slowly. What happens if I cross? She doesn't answer. You both trudge onward. The plains are featureless. Endless snow under endless grey. No trees, no shadows, no bells, just space. It feels wrong. Too open. You shiver, clutching at your chest, though there's no ember left to warm you. Then, in the distance, you see it. A gate. Massive, wrought of black iron, rising from the snow like it grew there. Its bars are carved with spirals, crowns, bells. Always bells. Beyond it, only fog. Thick, impenetrable, endless. The queen stiffens. No. You rasp, what is it? Her voice cracks. The way out. You stare, heart hammering. That's good. That's what we want. She shakes her head violently. No, nobody leaves. Nobody crosses. The feast doesn't allow it. But the gate looms closer with every step. Taller, darker, its bars vibrating faintly. A low hum crawls through the snow, deep in your bones. The queen grips your arm tighter, as if trying to anchor you. Don't trust it. The gate doesn't open. It takes. You stumble closer anyway, drawn. The frost marks on your wrists burn again, chains tightening. The queen curses, pulling back, but your feet drag toward the gate. The hum deepens. Words form. Fool, fool, fool. You drop to your knees, clutching your head. No, no more. The queen kneels beside you, grabbing your face, silver eyes blazing. Stay with me. Don't look. But you already are. The fog beyond the bars shifts. Shapes emerge. Faces. Your family again. Clearer than ever. Smiling. Calling. Their voices echo through the gate. Not distorted, not cruel. Real. Your name on their lips. Your home in their eyes. Tears blur your vision. Your chest aches. Emberless. hollow. You reach for the bars, trembling. The queen slams your hand back, her voice breaking. "It's not them!" you shout, roar. "Then why does it feel real?" Her face contorts, fury and sorrow tangled. "Because you want it too much." The frost chains yank harder, dragging you forward, inch by inch. The queen digs her heels into the snow, holding you, her strength the only barrier. The hum becomes a toll. Ding, ding. Each pulse rattles your bones. The gate trembles, fog swirling. The shapes beckon. Come home. You sob, weak, broken. "I can't fight anymore." The queen grips your chin, her silver eyes wet. "Then let me fight for you, let me burn in your place." You stare, trembling. "You'll die." She smiles, small, sad, maybe. "But I'd rather die here than let you sit there." She releases you, stepping toward the gate. Your stomach drops. "No, wait." She places her hands on the iron bars. Frost creeps instantly up her arms, chains wrapping her wrists. She doesn't flinch. Her eyes lock on you one last time. "Remember, hunger isn't fed, it's denied." And she pulls. The gate screams, metal shrieks, the fog convulses. The chains lash, binding her, wrapping her body, dragging her closer. She doesn't stop. She roars, pulling with every ounce of strength left. The bars crack, the toll falters. Ding! Silence. The fog recoils, collapsing inward. The faces vanish. The gate shudders, fractures racing up its frame. The queen screams, her body bound, chains slicing her skin, blood freezing in the air. With one final pull, the gate collapses, shattering into shards of iron that dissolve into snow. Silence. The queen falls to her knees, bloodied, bound, trembling. The chains still coil around her, dragging her down into the snow. You crawl to her, sobbing, ripping at them, but they burn, searing your flesh. She looks at you, silver eyes fading, lips trembling. "Large enough," she whispers, mocking the child, but her smile is real. And then the chains pull, dragging her under the snow. Gone. You scream until your throat tears, but only the snow answers. Snow buries the place where she vanished, piling quick, greedy, as if the forest itself can't wait to cover the evidence. You claw at it anyway, your fingers raw and bleeding, tearing fistfuls of white, but it just collapses back in, deeper, colder. The chains took her, the snow keeps her, and the silence, oh, the silence, wraps around your throat like rope. Your chest burns hollow, emberless, but the echo of her words digs deeper than any fire. Hunger isn't fed, it's denied. You whisper it to yourself, voice cracked, desperate. Denied, denied, denied. But the forest doesn't listen. The trees groan, leaning inward again, branches rattling, their skulls swinging on frozen cords. The air thickens. The hum returns. Ding. The toll doesn't come from the sky or the ground or any throne. It comes from below, beneath the snow, from her chains. You freeze, heart hammering. No, not her. Not her too. The ground trembles. Cracks spiderweb out from where she sank, glowing faint blue. Snow collapses, a pit opening, black and endless. From it, the sound grows. Ding, ding, louder, deeper. And then you see it. A hand, her hand. The queen claws upward, chains still wrapped around her wrists, her arms, her throat. She pulls, her silver eyes blazing with fury, but the chains drag her back, and behind her, something rises. Not a throne, not a tree, a table, enormous stone and bone, lifting itself from the abyss. Plates nailed into its surface, goblets fused into its edges, knives growing like teeth. The queen is dragged across it, bound like a centerpiece. The chains spread her arms wide, pinning her down. You scream her name, rushing forward, but the pit belches smoke, shadows lunging at you, clawing, hissing. You fight through, your fists breaking bones of ash, your voice raw, your body collapsing. But you don't stop. Not now, not her. You leap onto the table, grabbing the chains, pulling with all your weight. They burn, they freeze, they bite, but you don't let go. The queen glares up at you, blood streaking her face, her silver eyes still defiant. "Run!" she snarls. You shake your head, teeth gritted. "Not without you." The table groans, bells dangling from its corners, tolling in rhythm with your pulse. Ding. The sound rattles your skull, but you dig deeper, hauling, screaming, burning your hands to bone. The chains stretch, but they don't break. Then the child's voice cuts through the smoke. You can't free her. You snap your head up. The child stands at the edge of the pit. Their ember eyes faint now, their bell gone. They look smaller than ever, fragile, almost human. You snarl, fury ripping your throat. Help me! They shake their head slowly. She chose the chains. Your stomach twists. No, she chose me. The child's voice is calm, almost sad. She chose to buy you time. That's all choice ever is here. Time. You roar, ripping harder, fire bursting from your chest, though you thought it gone. The chains smoke under your grip, glowing red, straining. The queen screams, thrashing, her bow hand twitching, her eyes burning silver. For a moment, just a moment, the chains falter, and then the table tolls. Ding! The sound slams into your skull, ripping the fire out of your chest. You collapse onto the queen, your head against hers, your blood mixing with hers. The chains tighten, hissing, laughing. She meets your gaze, her lips trembling into the faintest smile. Stupid, she whispers. Always stupid. The chains yank, dragging her deeper into the table. Her body dissolves into smoke, her silver eyes the last to vanish. The table groans louder, rising higher, plates filling with meat that wasn't meat, goblets overflowing with wine that stank of blood. The feast resets. You fall to your knees on the table, sobbing, clawing at the empty space where she was. The child watches, silent. Finally they speak. You kept the pause. But every pause ends. The table shakes, plates rattling, bells clashing. Figures rise from the shadows around it. Nobles in tattered finery, crowns tilted, knives gleaming. Their mouths stretch into grins, too wide, too sharp. They take their seats, one by one, their eyes burning blue. The feast begins. You are the only one without a chair. The nobles turn toward you, raising their goblets, their voices blending into a single command. Sit. Your chest burns again. A flicker. Not ember. Not silence. Something darker. Something heavier. The throne wasn't the end. The table isn't either. You realize the truth as the nobles laugh, as the table groans, as the bells toll. You were never supposed to survive the traps. You were always supposed to join them. The nobles raise their goblets higher, their jeweled hands trembling with hunger. The liquid inside isn't wine. It's thick, black, bubbling with whispers. Every goblet hisses your name, spitting it out like steam. You stagger backward across the table, slipping on grease, the plates rattling beneath your feet. The nobles laugh louder, their teeth glinting like knives. Their eyes glow blue, brighter with every toll of the bells hanging from the table's edges. Ding! Ding! The child watches from the shadows at the edge of the pit, their ember eyes dimmer now, their face unreadable. They don't move. They don't help. They only observe. The nobles slam their goblets against the table in unison, the impact shaking your bones. Sit, they chant. Sit, sit, sit. Your chest burns with that new, darker flicker. Not ember, not silence. A void. Something raw. You clutch it, trembling. I'm not your fool. The nobles grin wider. You are already seated, they hiss, their voices blending into one. Every refusal is another cushion, every denial another plate. Every step you take against us is another course. You shake your head violently. No, I fought, I bled, I burned. And you served, they interrupt, their laughter rising. You lit the tree, you cracked the crown, you broke the throne, you called the table. Every act a service, every service a seat. The table groans louder, plates filling with meat that wasn't there a moment ago. Faces stare up from the dishes. Yours, the queen's, strangers. Eyes blinking, mouths open in silent screams. The goblets overflow, spilling black liquid that drips into your wounds, hissing. You stumble back, your foot catching on a knife that grows from the table like a fang. You fall hard, your face inches from one of the plates. Your own face stares back at you, its lips mouthing one word, fool. You scream, smashing the plate with your fist. Shards cut deep, blood mixing with grease. The nobles clap, delighted, their laughter shaking the air. Yes, they sing, bleed for us, feed the pause. The child finally speaks, their voice soft, carrying through the chaos. Every feast ends with the fool at the center. You snap your head toward them, fury burning your throat. Then what was all of this for? The queen? The fire? The silence? The child tilts their head, ember eyes faint. Time. She bought you time. You bought them more courses. The words gut you deeper than chains. You stagger, blood dripping from your hand, your vision blurring. The nobles rise now, their goblets spilling, their knives gleaming. They tower too tall, their crowns fusing with their skulls, their laughter becoming one endless roar. The table shakes, rising higher, taller, dragging you upward into the fog above the forest. The bells toll faster. Ding, 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 the nobles step closer, circling, their mouths opening wider, jaws unhinging. Rows of teeth glisten, tongues black and forked. They chant again, voices shaking the fog. Sit, sit, sit. You fall to your knees, clutching your chest, the void burning hotter. Your body trembles, your bones crack. You can't fight. Not anymore. You're hollow, emberless, queenless, just meat on a plate. The child steps closer to the table now, their bell gone, their hands empty. They meet your eyes calm, almost tender. If you sit, it ends for you. If you refuse, it continues forever. You choke. Then what do I do? Their ember eyes soften. Choose what hurts less. The nobles laugh, raising their knives, their goblets. The table tilts, forcing you toward the central chair carved into its surface. The seat is bone, smooth, waiting. The frost marks on your wrists tighten, chains pulling you down. You thrash weakly, screaming, "No!" The nobles cheer. "Yes!" You collapse into the seat. The chains snap shut around your arms, your legs, your throat. Bells explode, tolling so loud the forest splits. The snowstorm shatters, the world itself shakes. Ding, ding, ding. The nobles roar, raising their goblets, slamming them against the table. They begin to feast, ripping meat from bones, drinking black wine, devouring faces. Their laughter echoes forever. You sit in the center, bound, hollow, the void burning through you. The child watches, their ember eyes flickering. "Large enough," they whisper. Your body goes still. Your fire is gone. Your silence is gone. Only the feast remains. And you are the fool. The chains cut deeper the longer you sit. They don't just bind your wrists and ankles. They slide under your skin, threading through muscle, weaving into bone. Each toll of the bells pulls them tighter until you can feel your heartbeat sinking with the metal. Ding! The table trembles. Ding! The nobles howl with laughter, their mouths stuffed with meat that drips blood and ash. You want to scream, but the chain around your throat tightens, turning your voice into silence. The queen's words echo faintly in your head. Hunger isn't fed. It's denied. You try to hold on to them, but they slip away, drowned under the nobles' chant. Fool, fool, fool. Their knives clink against plates, their goblets splash black wine across the table, their crowns rattle as they shake with glee. They don't see you as prisoner or enemy. They see you as centerpiece, as tradition, as inevitability. The child remains at the edge of the pit, ember eyes dimmer than ever. They don't cheer. They don't laugh. They only watch, head tilted like a mourner at a funeral. You lock eyes with them, chains rattling, teeth gritted. Somehow you force one word through the silence, strangling you. "Help." The child shakes their head slowly. "I can't." Rage surges hot through your hollow chest. Why? Their ember eyes flicker, weak. Because you're already seated. Because you chose. You shake violently, the chains tearing your skin raw. "I didn't choose." The child's voice is soft, almost kind. You stayed. The table groans louder, tilting, lifting higher into the fog. The forest below disappears. The snowstorm is gone. Only endless grey surrounds you. The nobles' laughter rises, shrill and endless. Their crowns glow faint blue, their faces melting, reforming, grotesque and beautiful at once. They chant louder, "Fool, fool, fool." The void inside you throbs, hungry. It wants to feed, to drink, to join them. You can feel it gnawing, begging to open your mouth and swallow the feast with them. You fight it, clenching your teeth until blood fills your mouth. You shake your head, tears freezing on your cheeks. Then, her voice, the queen, faint, fragile, but real, stupid, always stupid. Your head snaps up. For a moment, you swear you see her, standing at the far end of the table, silver eyes blazing, chains still wrapped around her arms. The nobles don't notice. The child doesn't move. Only you see her. You sob, straining against the chains. You're dead. Her silver eyes burn brighter. So are you. The void inside your chest twists, recoils, hisses. The queen steps closer, every movement breaking chains that should never break. Her voice grows louder in your head. Deny them. Deny everything, even me. The nobles slam their goblets, knives flashing. The table tolls, ding, ding, ding. The queen roars, her silver fire erupting, her chains shattering. She throws her arms wide, her voice cutting through everything. Don't sit, stand. You scream, the void clawing, the chains tearing. Blood pours down your arms, your throat, your chest. But you force your legs to move, you push against the bone seat, muscles tearing, bones cracking. The nobles freeze, their laughter cutting off. You rise. The chains snap, shattering into sparks that burn the table. The bells explode, their toll strangled mid-ring. The nobles shriek, their eyes bursting, their crowns shattering. The table convulses, plates flying, goblets cracking, knives raining like hail. The queen stands at the opposite end, her silver fire engulfing her, her eyes fierce. You stagger toward her, every step tearing flesh, every step louder than bells. The nobles scream, their voices turning into carols, sung backward, distorted, broken. You roar, grabbing the edge of the table. The void surges out of you, not to feed, but to erase. The plates dissolve, the goblets crumble, the knives rust to dust. The nobles collapse, their bodies unraveling into smoke. The table groans one final time, splitting down the middle. You and the queen run toward each other as it collapses into the abyss. She grabs your hand, her silver fire mingling with your void, white and black crashing together. The child watches, their ember eyes wide for the first time. The table falls. The nobles vanish. The bells go silent. You and the queen dangle over the abyss, clinging to each other, your bodies burning with fire and void, silence and hunger. You look into her eyes, tears blinding you. We can't hold on. She smiles, faint, fierce. Then we fall together. You let go. The abyss swallows you both, endless, silent, but not empty. Your chest burns again, not ember, not void, both. Fire and silence, hunger and denial colliding, and you realize the feast isn't destroyed. It's inside you now. Falling doesn't feel like falling anymore. The abyss isn't down. It isn't up. It's everywhere. A weightless plunge into black, where your stomach no longer twists because you've forgotten which way is gravity. The queen's hand is still locked in yours, silver fire burning from her skin, mingling with the dark pulse in your chest. Together you tumble through endless shadow, your bodies glowing like twin sparks refusing to snuff out. The void whispers in your bones. You are the feast now. You are the table. You are the fool and the fire. It wants surrender. It always wants surrender. You grit your teeth, clutching tighter to the queen. No, you rasp, voice shredded but defiant. Not me, not us. She glances at you through the blur of shadow, her silver eyes fierce. Then burn them. Burn everything that tries to claim you. But the abyss isn't empty. Shapes drift closer, figures carved from the dark, their mouths wide, their bodies crowned with bells that toll without sound. Their eyes glow blue, faint and hungry. They swim toward you like predators through black water, ropes trailing from their hands, knives clutched in their teeth. The void in your chest surges, reaching for them, craving them. You slam your fist against your ribs, screaming, "No!" The queen hurls silver fire from her hands, each burst dissolving one shadow into smoke. But for every one that fades, two more emerge, slipping closer. One lashes a rope around your ankle, yanking hard. You and the queen are torn apart, spinning through the dark. You thrash, clawing at the rope, your skin burning as the frostmark reignites. The void hisses with pleasure. You force silence through your veins instead. Not the suffocating silence that nearly killed you before, but denial. Rejection. The rope crumbles into ash. You spin back, reaching for the queen, but she's drowning in them, her fire dimming under dozens of clawing hands. You roar, the void exploding outward. A wave of black silence rips through the shadows, shredding them, erasing their chains, cracking their crowns. The queen breaks free, gasping, her fire blazing hotter again. She hurtles toward you, grabbing your arm, anchoring herself. Together you blaze, fire and silence, denial and hunger, burning the shadows back. The abyss screams, not the shadows, not the nobles, the abyss itself. Its walls ripple, its flawless bottom convulses. And then, light. A throne rises again. Not bone, not stone, not wood. You. It's your own body, carved larger than life, seated in the black. A hollow echo of you, eyes burning blue, chest cracked open with a bell inside. It grins, your grin, twisted. The voice is yours, warped, booming. You cannot deny yourself. Sit and end. The queen snarls, fire raging. It's a trick, but you know the truth. The abyss has no need for tricks. It only reflects. This is you if you sit. This is you if you stop fighting. This is the fool you've been all along. You clutch your chest, the void burning, fire flickering, silence raging. You stagger toward the throne, teeth bared. The queen grabs your wrist, her voice raw. Don't you dare. You meet her eyes, trembling. I'm not sitting. I'm ending it. You rip your arm free, charging the hollow version of yourself. The throne smirks, lifting a hand, chains unraveling from its fingers. They lash at you, cutting your skin, dragging blood. You roar, forcing denial into every step. Silence burning louder than bells. The chains shatter. You leap onto the throne, onto yourself. The queen screams your name, silver fire bursting around her, tearing through the abyss. You plunge your hand into the hollow chest of your throne self. The bell inside tolls deafening. Ding, your bones crack. Ding, your fire sputters. Ding, your vision blurs white. But you don't stop. You grab the bell with both hands and rip. It tears free, blood and light and void pouring out. The throne collapses, your echo screaming as it dissolves into smoke. The bell burns in your hands, heavy, searing, screaming with every toll. Ding, ding, ding. The abyss convulses, shadows imploding, crowns cracking. The queen rushes to your side, silver fire shielding you. She sees the bell in your hands, her face pale. Destroy it. You raise it high, every nerve on fire, every bone breaking, and slam it against your chest. The bell shatters. The abyss erupts. Light, fire, silence, hunger, all at once. You and the queen are hurled upward, through the dark, through the smoke, through the endless screaming. The abyss collapses behind you, folding into nothing, chains dissolving, shadows erased. You land hard on snow, real snow. The forest returns, grey sky above, trees swaying in wind that actually makes sound. Your chest burns, hollow but alive. No ember, no void, just you. The queen collapses beside you, coughing, her silver eyes wide with shock. She stares at the forest, trembling. We're back. You laugh weakly, blood on your lips. Back where? Her gaze sharpens, fierce again. Wherever the feast isn't. The forest is quiet. Too quiet, but not suffocating. Just quiet. For the first time it feels like choice. Wind moves through the pines like a choir that finally learned humility, and for a long minute you and the queen just breathe. No bells, no wolves. No crown gnawing your skull from the inside. Your hands shake anyway, phantom chains tightening when nothing touches you. Snow carries the old smells away, smoke, meat, ash, and replaces them with clean cold and a hint of resin. The forest looks almost ordinary, which feels like an insult after all that noise. The queen rolls onto her knees, steadies, then hauls you upright. You ask nothing. She answers nothing. The pause belongs to both. She tests the air with a hunter's patience, then nods toward a direction that might be north, might be stubbornness. You follow, boots complaining, ribs ticking like thin china under every breath. The castle is gone. Either you outran it, or it decided you weren't entertaining anymore. That should feel like victory. It doesn't. Every tree still looks like a trap waiting for your foot. Every drift a mouth rehearsing your name. The queen keeps glancing at your chest, maybe listening for bells, maybe counting the breaths you have left to spend. You keep walking, because standing still is worship. Eventually the trees thin, and a field opens like a lung that's finally decided to work. At its center a ruined cart, half buried in snow, and beside it a sleeping donkey with icicles on its whiskers. The sight is absurd enough to be mercy. You and the queen approach slowly. The donkey watches with ancient boredom, then snorts steam and returns to dreaming. In the cart you find blankets, a loaf of bread hard as courage, a knife that isn't cursed, and a tin star punched with holes. It's a lantern. You light it with flint. It answers with fire. The queen eats exactly 3 bites of bread, then tucks the rest away like a promise she refuses to break. You chew until your jaw aches, and only then notice how quiet the world has become. Good quiet, not the vacuum that tried to own you. Somewhere far off, a raven argues with daylight. Somewhere nearer, the donkey dreams of grain. Your body loosens 1 knot, not 2. The queen wraps a blanket around your shoulders and another around her own, then points at the horizon where the sky bruises toward dusk. "Shelter," she says, "before the next story finds us." You reach a shepherd's hut stitched from stone and stubbornness, its roof bowed under snow, its door barred by nothing more than faith. Inside, straw and the ghost of goats. You clear a corner, set the lantern, and let the little tin star throw constellations across the walls. The queen sits opposite, stretching her ruined hands, every knuckle a bruise. For the first time, you ask a question that isn't about survival. What were you before all this? She tilts her head, considers, then smiles like a scar healing. Cold, she says, then hungry, then worse. Now, against. Always with you. Sleep circles but refuses to land. When it finally does, it drops like a stone into shallow water. You dream of thresholds, doors that don't open, gates that take, windows filled with faces you love speaking words you can't hear. You wake to the lantern guttering, and the queen already awake, knife across her knees, listening to a morning that's undecided about existing. Outside, snow has rewritten the ground again. Your tracks are gone. The donkey has vanished. Cart with it, like kindness you weren't meant to keep. You laugh once too loudly, and scare the quiet back into corners. You share the last of the bread, a victory so small it feels like blasphemy. Then shoulder what you can and step into the cold. The hut keeps breathing after you leave, as if relieved. The day has the color of tin and will not change its mind. You walk until your thoughts stop trying to arrange meaning and start counting steps. Around the 1500 you find a road. Ruts, at least. Human intention flattened into snow. Far along it, a village huddles beneath smoke that smells like soup instead of witchcraft. Bells live there too, but honest ones. People notice 2 strangers at once in a century like this. They also pretend not to. You rent a corner of heat in the alehouse with a silver coin that shouldn't exist, and nobody argues because hunger can be punctured by metal just long enough to forget prayer. A child stares at your frost scars. You wiggle your fingers and make the tin star throw spots of light across their nose. They laugh and the sound doesn't turn into bells. That nearly breaks you. The queen eats stew like an argument she plans to win, then says the word, west. You go west because west feels like leaving, and leaving is the only trick you have left. Fields replace forest, then cliffs replace fields, then sea replaces cliffs with a roar that finally drowns the last scraps of ritual clinging to your clothes. Salt air scours the story out of your hair. The queen stands at the waterline, boots in foam, face unreadable. "There's another winter across that," she says. You nod. "There's always another." She turns to you, silver eyes soft for once. "We don't have to chase it." You stare at the horizon anyway and say, "We do." Because you were never Kevin, not really. You were the house, rooms full of thresholds and tricks. And now you refuse tenants. You don't survive the traps so much as learn their language and tell them no in it. Daily, forever. On the beach you build a fire that doesn't ask your name, and the queen sits beside you without a crown, and the night finally lets stars be stars. When morning arrives like a cautious messenger, you shoulder your pack, take the tin lantern, and choose the road that points at difficult weather. Christmas watches from old ruins and goes hungry.